All right. Well, welcome to another creator hangout. We didn't do one last week because it was Easter, and I knew that a lot of people were going to be spending time with their family, their friends, and just celebrating Easter. You know, everyone knows that I'm a Christian. I believe in strongly in Jesus Christ, and so I know that there's a lot of people that are probably in that same boat. And so that's one of the reasons why we didn't have the creator hangout last week, is because I wanted people to be able to spend some time with their family and just kind of reflect on the day and just have a great Sunday. And so today's live stream, this creator hangout, is just going to be a kind of like a chill and chat. If you have any questions, I'm sure I'm going to be joined by some other creators here soon. I know that of at least one who's trying to work it out in their schedule. So if you have any questions for me or for anyone throughout this chat, whether it be like especially like with regards to YouTube, just let me know. We got our first person, Annette. How are you, Annette? If you want to come up again, go right ahead. I sent the link in that group chat, so if you want to come up, go right ahead. I'd love to have you. We had quite the great discussion the last time you were up here, so yeah, go right ahead. But yeah, this has kind of become something I look forward to every week, and honestly, like, I love being able to give encouragement, advice. I like being able to help, especially like new people who are wanting to start a YouTube channel or be a content creator, and really just get them excited, because this is like the best time in the history of the world to be a content creator. When I was in high school, would have never even fathomed that you could make a living off of YouTube and off of creating videos and such. I was taught trying to get a good education, like a degree, and then do a Monday through Friday 9 to 5 job, and then just do that for the next like 40 years, and then retire, and then just live the rest of my life. No worries. That takes priority and precedence. I know you've been excited about that video, so no worries whatsoever in that. If you want to come up, just let me know. But yeah, I see, like, when I was in high school, we were taught that, like, you had to go to, after you graduated high school, you go to college, you get a degree, you get married during that time, you have kids, and then you just do your field of study for the rest of your life. And then when you're like 60 or 70, you retire. And I was kind of in that mindset for the longest time, because that's what I had been trained. Like, that's what I had been told I needed to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. I want to put a full disclaimer on that. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I know that, like, being a business owner, being a content creator is not for everybody. I know that there's a lot of people that they just enjoy watching YouTube videos and they don't want to make them. That's fine. Like, I understand that. I was actually in that boat for a little while, because I used to get really nervous and shy on camera. And so I completely understand where you're coming from that. Before I decided to change my major, I was actually working on becoming a physical therapist. Like, I was in school studying athletic therapy. I was dead set on going to PT school, having my own clinic, and really just doing that for the rest of my life. And like, that was my plan for the longest time. And then talking with other people, especially people who had like in-laws, who, like, son-in-laws in the whole PT field, and how I remember I talked with one before, but they were saying how they were just shocked at, because, sorry, I can't remember straight. Their son-in-law was trying to get into PT school, and he had tried and tried. He had applied for so many, and he still was getting rejected. He was getting denied. And the really sad part about all that is that that's what happens to a lot of like a lot of potential PTs, is because it's a very competitive field. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to change my major. And so, yeah, I am a college student still. I am closer to being a senior. I'm a junior in junior in high school. I'm a junior in college, not high school. I'm definitely not in high school anymore. But I changed it to business communications, because I just realized that in itself, PT is a great field to be into, but it's very competitive to get into PT schools. I have a good friend of mine who is still actively pursuing PT school, and he and I have talked quite a bit about it. And I have another friend's little sister who is in PT school at the U, and she has talked about how there's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears throughout her course of going through PT school. She's about to graduate, which I'm very excited for her. But yeah, so I get that content creation is not for everybody. I get that wholeheartedly. I get that. I'm not going to be offended by that whatsoever. But I know that for a lot of us, like I know that I enjoy being able to create content to bring a little bit more light to the internet. And that's just kind of like one of my standpoints. Like I like bringing some encouragement and light to the internet, and really just bringing it across a positive message. I always try to include some encouragement or some kind of positiveness in my videos and in my live streams. That's always been one of my goals, because I used to be really negative. For the longest time, I had the I don't care attitude. I was working a dead end job. I just had the attitude, get in, get out, get on with my life kind of mindset. And I started realizing I was being a complete jerk, and I felt really bad about that. And so I changed my mindset, and I started focusing on the present. I started trying to encourage and be kind of like a source of upliftment, if that's a word, into people's lives. So that's really like why I try to be as positive as I can now, because I was very hard on myself. I was rude to people. Sorry, my shoulders. Guess I was leaning. But yeah, you guys have any questions? Let me know. I love answering questions. And yeah, the greatest part about being a content creator, in my opinion, is just being able to create an impact in someone's life. I've been able to make them an impact in several people's lives who don't even live here in the country that I live in. Like I have a friend who is based out of Japan. His name's Lito. I've mentioned him in live streams in the past. He and I have become good friends, and I've had a huge impact on his life. He's had a huge impact on mine. And I have another person that I subscribe to my channel that's based in Australia, and I know I've made an impact in their lives, and so it makes me feel good knowing that I've made an impact in someone else's life. Like what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind when you leave this world? Like that's just a stupid thought. Like, that's just a random question. But like, I know for me, like I want to leave a legacy for my future kids that their dad was really involved in other people's lives, and he really made an effort into improving the world he was around. And so that's always been my goal. Is like I want people to walk away from talking with me or even watching my content and just really feel motivated, feel invigorated, and just feel like, man, that guy's he knows how to be happy, he knows how to be excited. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me. I feel like I'm just kind of rambling, but yeah, I know that content creation isn't for everyone. I get that. I've talked with several people who have said that they have no desire to do YouTube. They have no desire to own a business, and I get that. Like there's a lot of stresses that come from being a business owner or being a content creator. I guess they're one and both in the same, because if you're a content creator, you're technically a business owner. But I know that's just not for everybody. But yeah, and so you'll have to bear with me. I've been actually writing a paper like all day. It's finals week this coming week, for my semester at college, and I've been having to write this big report on this sales class that I've been in. It's been quite an in-depth thing. Like I've had to do like APA style. So my mind's just kind of everywhere because I've been typing so much. I think after this usually happens to me every time when I have finals, my brain kind of feels like scrambled eggs after. That's just how I am. I'm sure anyone who's either in college or who has been through college can relate to this. I know that for me personally, like when that last week ends, I feel like I have a sense of freedom. I feel like I've been a prisoner of war, And then when that last week of the semester is over, I was like, I'm free. I feel like I'm Frodo from Return of the King when he just says like, it's finished. Like I feel so great to be a part of it. Oh my goodness. Growth, Angie. Hey, Angie. Hello. Angie says, hello, finishing up a few things and we'll try to join in a few. No worries, Angie. I know this is your weekend of anniversary for you and your husband's anniversary. So like, I didn't really want to take you away from that, but if you want to come up, great. I know that you've always been a major support to me in these creator hangouts. So I'm glad that you're here, but yeah, just come up when you're ready. I put the link in that group conversation. So anyone that's watching and is part of that group conversation, just let me know. But thanks for showing up. I appreciate that. Hang on a sec. I got a message. Sorry, I had to respond to that. I was a content creator that's probably going to come up on stage with me here in a bit, and he was just asking a question. But yeah, so this week I'm going to try to get out a few videos, but I can't make any promises. With it being finals, my time's going to be very well tied. My hands are going to be tied with all that because I got to make sure I pass my classes. You know, this is something that I want to make sure I do well in because I know that not everyone is a big fan of school, but like I firmly believe that you at least need a bachelor's degree to get anywhere in life. But that's just me. Like that's just how I feel. But I know that not everyone agrees with me, and that's what makes us all unique, right? And then Luis, you have entered into the chat. How are you, Luis? I hope you're doing a lot better from your whole experience with COVID. Luis had COVID a few weeks ago, and he hasn't been able to do the live streams for a little while because of COVID. COVID, it's a beast from what I hear. I had two of my brothers who have had COVID. One had my oldest brother had it, and then the brother that's just older than me had it. And I think the brother that's just older than me that lives up in Portland, I think his COVID situation kind of lasted a little bit longer. It was kind of prolonged, and he was so ready to be over it. And so I understand, you know, COVID-19 is just not a fun experience. I've talked with several people who have said that they had COVID and they said they felt like garbage. And some said that it was just more like a flu. And it just kind of impacts everyone differently. I think it just kind of depends on your immune system. But thanks for showing up, Luis. I appreciate you. Shark Fin Tech. Shark, I'm going to bring this up because Nez brought this up earlier on his live stream. When are we going to see a photo of you on your profile, Shark Fin? Come on, you're like an expert at this kind of stuff. I see you all the time in Clubhouse. I've seen you on my live streams. You've even been up here on stage with me, so everyone knows what you look like. I don't know why you're trying to hide your face. Come on, man. You gotta get into the spirit of it and just push your photo out there. Find the best photo. You can even put out like a photo of you like in your 20s, and people will probably still be okay with that. But that's just me. Annette, how's it going with the uploading? I hope that that's working out so far. I know that for me, sometimes I get very frustrated with my uploads because they don't either export right or the video quality doesn't export right. Like I'm trying to work on a video for someone right now, and the video quality is just terrible. It just keeps altering the video quality, and I'm really getting frustrated about that. So I hope it's all working out. Lalo, how are you, man? Yeah, so Lalo, you don't need any kind of program to join. I put the link in the group chat. And so just click on that and you'll come up on stage on my back end. And from there, I'll just welcome you in and you'll be a part of the live stream. StreamYard is very simple and easy to use. Yeah, exactly. Luis, branding 101, Anthony's right. And it's so true. Branding, I cannot say this enough. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into when I first started YouTube, but through talking with people on Clubhouse and talking with people in other live streams, branding is probably like the most important aspect of being a content creator, is knowing that not only are you creating a name for yourself, but you're creating a name for your brand. For me, my brand is my name. For some people, like, Luis, his is Tech for Your Needs. That's his brand name. And so he's got to make sure he makes a good brand for himself and really just stand out. Elvira, thanks for coming. How is everything? I know you were there the other day in a clubhouse room. That's another thing. Is like, if you really want to get into content creation, a lot of us content creators that you're seeing in this chat, they're actually on Clubhouse. Like, we have great conversations every week. There's a room that we are all usually a part of once a week on Thursday nights. And it's just like it's like a late night hangout. We just talk about anything and everything and really just try to get to know each other. That's where I've met a lot of people that are in the chat right now: Sharkfin, Angie, Annette, Lalo, and then Professor Nez that's where I met him. But really, if you're really serious about getting into the whole YouTube content creation thing, jump on Clubhouse, because it's been one of the best experiences. I've gained some of the best friendships through that app. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a sec, but I've gained some of the best friendships and knowledge through that app, and really just makes me feel more like I'm an equal to others. Because you have big time creators, like you have Viper, he's the man about tech, who's on there. You have Roberto Blake. He's another big time content creator. He's on there. There's Christina Smallhorn. She's a big content creator with the real estate game. But really, that is something that if you are serious about this, consider jumping on Clubhouse. I know that it used to be you had to have an invite to jump on, but now the owners of Clubhouse have made it available for everybody on either iOS or Android. So Tech for Your Needs. So Luis says, did you see my channel mascot? I tweeted sometime today. I did not see that. I've been busy, Luis. I've been busy typing a paper like all day. I don't know if you heard. I've been trying to finish a paper for the final week of my college semester that's coming up this week, and it's taken a lot out of my day to day. Like, have to write 5 to 6 pages, double spaced, APA style, and there's all sorts of other things I have to do. Like, I have to do like a table of contents. I have to do a reference page. It's just the joys of being a college student. So I apologize. I have not seen your tweet about that. I will look for it later on. But A-Train. So fun fact about A-Train, I just found out this week. His name is also Anthony. I'm not going to say how he spells it because that's private information for him. But, Anthony is just a great name. But appreciate you, A-Train. I know you said you're going to stop by. I'm glad that you're here and that you're a part of this. But yeah. And then let's see here. Clemere, I had the opportunity and privilege to be on her live stream beginning of this month. It was a great time. We had a great conversation. There was some out of the nowhere karaoke that was happening. I wasn't singing, but other people were singing on the live stream. So that was a pretty cool thing. She does a lot of live streams. So if you're really interested in her content, go check her out. And honestly, thank you, Clemere, for being here. I appreciate you. And she's just saying hello to everyone. But yeah, I love doing live streams. I wasn't always the most excited about being on camera. I used to be very camera shy. I always liked taking photos of other people, but not being on camera myself. Makes sense, right? Because I'm on YouTube. I don't know. That's just a little jab, I guess, on myself. But I love doing live streams. I love being able to create content. And yeah, in Clubhouse, we've had the conversation. The question has come up before, where if you're recording out in public, do you feel weird when you're recording out in public as a content creator? And my answer to that question would be, I do still feel a little weird, because I feel like people are looking at me like weird, like, oh, what is he doing? Like, why is he talking to his phone? Or like, why is he doing this? But at the same time, it gets people excited. Like, when I've talked with people about my YouTube channel before, they're like, oh, what's your YouTube channel about? And, they were genuinely interested and they were wanting to know. So I just told them about it. They're like, that's awesome. Like, I'll have to find that where it is and I'll have to subscribe, things like that. And so, and then my friend Lito, who I mention all the time, because he's a good friend, he actually on his, not the live stream he just did today, but the live stream he did a few days ago, him and his wife were just kind of walking around Nara, Japan. I believe it was somewhere in Nara, Japan, or close to like Osaka. They were just kind of live streaming, and these guys noticed that he was live streaming. They're like, "Oh, YouTuber!" And then they were like really getting excited. And so like he gave him his card that had like his YouTube channel on it and everything. And so they're like, "We're going to subscribe." So there's a lot of cool things about live streaming, especially like out in the public. I know that a lot of people have been asking about me doing a walk around live stream, because a lot of people want to see the city I live in. They want to see like what it looks like and everything. And I'm planning on doing that this next week. It probably won't happen. I'm going to be honest, because of finals. I really can't distinguish all that time kind of thing. But yeah, it's definitely something I want to do. I want to be able to show you guys what it looks like in the area where I live, because there's some really cool spots. Like, we have a veterans memorial wall that's dedicated to those who served in the Vietnam War from this area where I live. And it's really cool. When it was announced like 2010, and they finished it like 2015, 2016. I was so excited when they announced it, because like I thought, man, I want to go see the Vietnam Memorial Wall, but that's like back east in the United States, and I just don't have the money, I don't have the time. But when they announced it, I thought, cool, now we have one. But I still want to go see the other one. But let's go back to the chat here. Yeah, it was a wonderful live, and I was grateful that you asked me to be a part of it, because it was really fun. We had a lot of fun. I had one of my other good friends on there, JJ, and then my friend Lito came on there after I left, because I had some things I had to do. Lito came on, and I caught a glimpse of the fact that he was on there now, on there kind of in my place. It was kind of like, he took my spot, which I was totally okay with, because Lito has a lot of good vital information. And then Luis says, I'm not shy to film outside. It took me a week when I started to convince myself I got this. And that's the thing, is like, when it comes down to the whole doing live and recording yourself out in public, like, yeah, it may be weird at first, but you really just kind of got to ignore all that, like ignore the eyes of people that are maybe watching you, and just focus on your audience, especially like whether you're doing a live stream or you're doing a pre-recorded video, whether it be a long form or a short form video. Like, you just gotta, kind of tune out everyone else and just focus on the viewer, as I've come to find. And then we got a new person, Blackwell Olaf from Ohio here. Thank you for joining. I'm glad you're here. I hope you get some value out of this content. Like, this is going to be great. There's going to be some other content creators that are going to be coming up on stage here in the next while. But yeah, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. But yeah, I really do want to do the walk around my city live stream. I was planning on doing it a few weeks ago, but it was snowing, and I am kind of tired of the snow, so I really didn't want to brave the snow. I know, I should have, because I know a lot of people would like to see the snow. I get that, but I didn't really feel up to it, and it was cold, and I used to not be as cold-natured, but now I get cold very easily. Like, to give you an example, when I was a kid, like a teenager, I was the type of kid that wore shorts in the wintertime. And my mom actually when I did that, she actually ended up taking away my shorts. She's like, I came home from school one day, and she said, I've hidden all your shorts, and that's just how it is. Hang on one sec. Okay, so Brittany, you are trying to come up on stage, and it says device not connected. So you may want to try to log out and then try to log back in. What it's saying on my end is, it says they will need to connect their mic/cam before you can add them to the stream. So I will try to quickly put that in the Instagram chat And oh, it looks like you're going to try to do that. You're going to try to reset it. But yeah, when you're ready to come on, Brittany, more than happy to. But yeah, I will definitely be doing the live stream where I just kind of walk around my city. There's a lot in my city that is really kind of cool. Like we have, I don't know if you guys have heard of pickleball. Like we have a pickleball court here in the area, like where I live now. There's the bird refuge that I have taken a lot of photos at, like that photo that Shark Fin took. I mean, that not that he took, that I took, that he won. That was actually from that I was actually from that bird refuge. You're funny, Shark Fin. You're so funny. I forgot to laugh. Actually, that kind of, that's smart. That was a great thing. But yeah, it was. I want to definitely show you guys that area because it's such a cool area and it's so massive. And I want to show you guys that area because before you know it, they're actually building a part of a highway through that, and so it's going to look completely different. Oh my goodness. Hang on. I see someone in the background. I'm going to bring them up here in a sec. But yeah, it's going to look completely different after this highway is built. But I'm going to be doing that here in the next few weeks, especially in my break in between semesters. But without further ado, we got ourselves someone who just reached the 1K mark a few weeks ago. Her name is Grow with Angie. And honestly, I was fortunate enough to get to know her through Clubhouse. So that's, again, another reason why you guys should join Clubhouse. But without further ado, let's welcome her on stage. Angie.
Hello. How are you?
Thank you for coming up. I'm great. I know it's your anniversary, so happy anniversary to you and your husband.
Thank you. Yeah, it's actually I think Tuesday, but we were planning and spending some time together and he took tomorrow off too. So we got a lot of yard work and whatnot done, but he's so supportive. He's like, honey, go downstairs, just jump on for a while. So I'm like, okay.
Well, it sounds like he's a good husband.
Yes, he is. It is 20 years. So it's been a crazy ride.
Shark Fin Tech just said, there she is.
There I am. I
Yeah,
know.
there she is. You're like a celebrity now on Clubhouse, Angie. Especially since you hit that 1K mark. Like everyone's like, oh my gosh, like we gotta get to know Angie.
Yeah, well, more exciting is you guys have probably heard Professor Nez talk about Facebook and Facebook Reels. And I know we're all YouTube, right? And it's all direct to YouTube. I want everything to go to YouTube. But I've been creating Facebook Reels on my group page. So this has been very interesting. It is myself posting to my group, so my own personal profile. And then 2 days ago, I actually got the invite to be a content creator, Facebook Reel, get money for Facebook Reels. So I accepted it. I went through the whole thing. I put everything in, and now my personal page actually says digital content creator on it. And instead of just friend requests, people can follow me. But I've always been, for like the last year, I've never I had deleted my Facebook and restarted it when I did YouTube. So it's been very kind of private anyway. Mm-hmm. And then going over to my group page. But yes, so I'm going to be posting a whole bunch of reels and I'm teaching myself how to do them. And I'm like, got to throw them up all the time now. So we're going to kind of play around with that and see what happens. But yeah, that's another exciting thing.
That's big congrats to you, because honestly, like, I'm kind of indifferent about the whole Facebook Reels. Like, I mean, I watch them, but like, I think maybe eventually I'll try my hand at them. But for right now, I've just been wanting to do just the YouTube and YouTube Shorts, and maybe from time to time Instagram Reels. But yeah, it's
fun because you can do Instagram Reels, and Instagram and Facebook are owned by the same thing. So you can actually go into your Reels and on Instagram, and it seems like there's a little bit more to play around with, I guess, as far as like settings and that type of thing. And so the last two I created in Instagram. And then before I hit the post, there's a little arrow that says download, and it downloaded it to my photo album. And the only thing it won't do is carry over any music. So you can't add music. But then I go to Facebook and I just upload it organically to Facebook and then use the music from Facebook. So I've kind of done a workaround because the Instagram one is a little bit better. But yeah, it's fun, and it's because I'm pulling back from YouTube Shorts. So
Mhm.
this is kind of my way of doing shorts, but doing them on Facebook and kind of keeping them separate.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I definitely see why, because you and I, we've been in clubhouse rooms where you just kind of like, you guys don't want to know my opinion of YouTube Shorts, and you clearly stated that, like, you don't want to know my opinion of them,
Yeah.
and so like I get that, and like I'm kind of indifferent about shorts as well, but like Nez, he's been kind of giving after me. He's like, for that one live stream we did a few weeks ago, he's like, where is it? Like, you got to do. He's been kind of getting after me, like, I want to see this because you need to repurpose it. But I think it kind of comes down to preference. But who knows? Maybe eventually, I assume we'll get in there. But
And I would do it again. I've talked about it. I would do it again if they put it in a different spot on the Facebook page. If it had like, your videos, your live, your community
mhm.
tab, and there was a tab for shorts, if they would move them so they're not on my main wall and mixed in with my other stuff, I'd probably do them again.
Yeah, and see, and that's the thing is like I, I, the other night you were saying how on Facebook, when it kind of made your profile kind of appear online, you didn't know how you felt about it because you've been such a private person. But I think that, like, honestly, like, I can see that that's kind of like a double-edged sword in some
Mhm.
ways, because
Yeah.
like it's good, but it's bad.
Yeah,
And
you become a public profile or whatever,
yeah, like
so
a public figure. And
yeah.
so I get where you're just like, I don't know how I feel about this. And so
I
like I
don't
get that.
post a lot of personal stuff on my Facebook anyway. I've always told my family, like, if you wanna send me a picture or a private something, you can text me. Don't use Facebook anyway. But I see
So
Annette's husband.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, so she said that her husband's been monetized and they invited him a month ago. That's very interesting. Does he have a business page or is this just personal? Because when I think it first came out, it was business pages or you had to have a business page.
Mhm.
And I've just been doing them as Angie Christine is my name on Facebook. And so I've been posting Angie Christine's creating reels and then I'm putting them on my Girl with Angie group. But I'll tell you, my Facebook group has grown a lot just in the last 2 days. It's like every time I pick up my phone, you have 5 new members, you have 6 new members, welcome you. And so it's like, I don't know why, but it started to like, because that group has always been public anyway, but I don't know if it's just like feeding it out into, yeah, she said personal page. That's interesting. So yeah, if anybody is interested, start making some reels, man, because this is new. And it already told me an average. It will tell you what an average dollar amount is. And if I keep on track of doing like a reel a day or whatever, right now it says that I could average $1,200 in the next payout. So yeah, why not? I'm
It's
gonna
not
keep
bad.
going and we'll see what happens. I don't know. Maybe I'll fall flat on my face and fail, but you
Well,
never know.
hopefully that won't be the case. But Luis, he said, and yes, Angie, get that secured money bag.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean, I feel like in today's society, like with content creation, you got to utilize not just YouTube, not just Instagram, not just TikTok, but like every platform you can to really get that income kind of rolling in. Like keep seeing that, like, Twitter now gives you the option to monetize your Twitter account, and so like I have yet to do that because like I just don't really know how I feel about that. But
Clubhouse does too. And I've had that for a long time where you can put oh, you have to link it to something, and I'd have to look it up and see what it's called, but people can pay you through Clubhouse, and I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know. I'm there to get to know people, and that's not to me, that's not something I would ever want to be there to say, "Hey, give me money because I talked to you." I'm not that's more of a friend-based hangout thing for me, I think.
yeah, and I think that I would feel kind of guilty if I did start charging people on Clubhouse, because, like, I'm kind of in the same boat, like, where I just want to get to know people. I want to give people advice. I want to say, like, hey, well, this is what I think you should do. And I don't want to be one of those people like, okay, well, that's going to be $10. Like,
Right.
I don't want to be that kind of a stickler. Like, where's my money?
Right. Yeah, I shared this information. No, because I think, things like these in Clubhouse and stuff, and obviously my niche is not teaching people how to do YouTube, but like I always say, so many people put into me and gave their time to me. So, it's just my way of doing that in return. So,
Yeah. Really quickly, we have another person in the background,
yay.
and his name is Lalo.
Lalo.
Lalo, we would like to see your face, though.
You got to open your
Hello?
camera. Open your camera,
Yes, I will
sir.
open my camera, but is,
Ah,
is is the audio working?
Yeah,
yes. Yeah,
we
we
can
can
hear
hear
you.
Okay,
you.
perfect. Okay, let me go ahead and set myself up.
Oh, this is so exciting.
This is
But
my first time
kind of
here, so
going back to the chat. So Anessa, she does Facebook Reels too, and I'm now that I'm seeing all these people try Facebook Reels. I'm starting to lean more towards, well, maybe I should try this.
Yeah, I like I mean, really it's such a quick little thing and you can just for me it's kind of interacting with my subscribers and stuff on more of a daily basis. Like today I did a fun one, which you were talking earlier about having the camera and like recording yourself when you're out. I recorded myself all over Menards today and it was the funniest thing. But I had this idea. I'm like, I'm going to Menards. I'm gonna do like a shopping garden haul at Menards. And then even just yesterday I was videotaping myself cleaning out the flower beds. I'm like, okay, this is my flower beds. So it's a little bit more like just a 60-second of what I'm doing all the time. So if they want to follow me on Facebook for that more everyday kind of, oh, she started microgreens, oh, she's, outside gardening, or oh, here's her chickens, and it doesn't have to fill up my YouTube with that other in between stuff. So
There is Lalo. How
Lalo.
are you, man?
hello. How's it
Hi.
going?
Good.
I'm
How's
actually
life?
excited to be here.
This is very cool.
How's life,
Very cool.
Lalo?
What was that?
How's life?
It's going good, man. Just got back home. I'm excited. I'm happy to be here. I've been meaning to join these creator hangouts for a while now, so it's just kind of like exciting that. I mean, I thought I was gonna have to download StreamYard myself and like set everything up, but this is very convenient and very easy.
Have you
Very
never
glad to be
used
here.
StreamYard before?
I've never used StreamYard.
Oh, it's so fun. It's so fun.
There's
Yep.
some really cool features like, for example, if I go over here to, let's see your brand, like I can do different things. Like I can do background music.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see it. You like that? Like
Oh.
background music. I probably won't because like this is a more important conversation. I feel like I just don't want to overwhelm with the background music. Like there's so much like.
On my 1,000, when I did a live for the 1,000 party or whatever, I started it because it's got rock music, and I started it with a whole bunch of heavy metal rock music. But yeah, it's kind of cool, and you can change all the colors, like our little names and stuff down here. And
Yep.
oh yeah, I'm forgetting. I got to mute now that we got more people up here. Look at Lalo's all muting himself.
No.
Oh, you guys can see when I mute and unmute?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. I was just trying out the shortcuts because
Oh
it
yeah,
says
push some
if you
buttons.
press Command D, you can mute. If you
Yeah.
press Command E, you can turn off the camera.
You
Very
see how I'm
cool.
changing everything, Lalo?
Uh-huh. I
On the
see that.
Yeah, it's really cool and convenient. I know that one of my good friends, my friend Lito, he actually uses a different program called it's called like Prism or something. But I kind of want to go back to the chat, and so Luis says, "Don't put your eggs in one basket," and that is so true. There's so much truth in that because I feel like if people were to focus just solely like on YouTube or TikTok, they're kind of limiting themselves from this whole experience because they're not getting the reach they need. And so, Angie, you just got accepted into the Facebook Reels program. I know of other people who have been accepted into the Facebook Reels program. And I first started with content creation. I first started with podcasting, and like I was just doing I was doing it via SoundCloud and everything. And then like last fall or something, Facebook was like, "Hey, bring your podcast to our platform because they're basically like, we want this podcast on our platform." I was like, at first I was kind of hesitant, but then Nez was like, "Do it." He's like, "It's just another way to get your name out there." So I feel like a lot of people, if they limit themselves, like let's say like if people are like, "Oh, I don't like YouTube, I just want to do TikTok content creation." I'm like, that's great because TikTok is very popular, but at the same time, you're limiting yourself. But really, I think, what are your guys' thoughts on that? You're muted.
See, I get so used to where I can just talk. I want Lalo to go. I want to hear him speak. This is so neat to actually see him and not just hear him in Clubhouse.
Thank you, thank you. I mean, as it pertains to expanding on social media, I can say that I've never done a TikTok. I've never done an Instagram reel. I am on Instagram and I used to use it very extensively, but I never posted a reel or any of that. So I am pro expanding. I just think I have not actually explored that realm of creation myself. But as I've continued to learn over this past year, short form content is getting so big, and like everyone, literally Mr. Beast, all the big creators that I look up to are literally saying that if you're not expanding right now, you're missing out on an opportunity of being able to reach more people. And I think for anyone who really wants to make this their full time career, it is important to understand that opportunities are literally there. We just got to actually take them. And even though it's more work to keep track of all these different social medias, it's very worth the effort, because you can totally reach other people. And even if, like, on TikTok, like, everybody knows that their payment, actual income you can make from the creator fund is not the best, you can reach a lot of people and you can expand your exposure. So I think that itself is a very good return on investment. But what do you guys think?
Go ahead, Angie.
Oh, I do. So really just YouTube is obviously my biggest one. And then I've been on Instagram just because I was again using that just to post pictures and stuff in between. And I was playing around with the reels for quite a while on that already. So I was kind of getting used to that. And then Facebook has been awesome for me as far as my groups. And I think that's pretty much all I'm focusing on. I do have Twitter, but I gotta say, if any people that are following me from YouTube or Facebook over to Twitter, they're not gonna get what they think they're gonna get, because the only reason I'm on Twitter is because of all my Clubhouse peeps. So most of the time I'm posting on there, it's like, "Hey, I got my 1,000, subscriber pillow," or, "Hey, look at all our thumbnails that we changed in Clubhouse." That's all I do on there. So I don't really expect much, and I follow all of you guys on Twitter just to kind of see what you're doing. But I haven't really utilized that enough, I guess, but I guess I don't really care. I feel like my Facebook, a little bit of Instagram, and then YouTube is really all I need, but I'm not, ever opposed to doing more. I just don't want to overwhelm myself right now. Like, I've
Yeah.
got too many things
I
going
feel
on at
that.
one time, and I don't want to spread myself so thin where I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to post on 5 different platforms every single day and then burn out sooner than what I need to.
Yeah, no, I get that. I really do. I reference Sean Cannon How the Tours a lot because, like, being a member of VRA, I feel like they're some of my mentors. And, they said actually in a clubhouse room, like last spring, they both were in a clubhouse room that I was a part of. They said, focus on one platform at a time. Like, if you're, focus on YouTube and then switch to Instagram, then switch to TikTok, and they're just like, don't get so overwhelmed that you burn out. And that's what I think a lot of people try to do. Like, I tried to do that in the past, and I was getting to the point where I was getting close to burnout. And one of the mods for my channel, he's one of my good friends. I've known him since 2007. I remember messaging one night on Facebook saying, like, dude, I'm done. Like, I'm just gonna sell my camera, I'm gonna sell everything. I'm done. And he responded like, can I be blunt honest with you right now? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. It's like, if you were to do that, you would immediately regret it. And he kind of brought me back down into reality, like, oh my gosh, like, what am I thinking? I'm like, you're right. And so I feel like when someone focuses just on one platform at a time, then their chances of having greater success are going to expand ever so much.
I agree with that. I can also relate that, like, burnout is inevitable no matter how much are passionate about something. Obviously, ever since I created my YouTube channel in 2011, I've literally gone like upwards of 1 year without posting videos. But here I am, continuing to be hyper passionate about YouTube, and like already thinking about my new channel and have a new video ready to post. And I'm so excited. I join these rooms every single day, and I'm just so hyped about this topic, and I can never get bored of it ever since I was like 11 years old. So that's how I know that this is like what I'm meant to do. I may not be the best at it by any means. I may not be, obviously, we all have all these limitations, all these challenges, all these things that like we make us think like, oh, maybe I'm not the right person to do this kind of thing. But I think passion is literally kind of like overcompensates for anything you may feel like you're lacking on. So the fact that I'm so passionate about this, throughout all these years makes me realize that literally no matter how many times I go through burnout, I'm still going to want to come back and make YouTube videos. And that's why I could never quit. Because I know that, like you said, I'm going to literally regret it the day after I quit. Because I'm going to be like, so what am I going to do now? What is my goal? What is my my new thing that I'm going to do? I literally have been making videos, even outside of YouTube, like wedding films. At my job, we do videos all the time. So video making is what I am most passionate about. So I can't just quit. So I agree with that.
Yeah.
That's
Angie?
funny when he said, "What am I going to do?" That just makes me laugh because I actually was thinking that today. So I everything for me is like an hour away. So I have to drive to Menards. It's like an hour drive, and so I'm on the expressway. I'm by myself, and I'm just thinking. And I've been blessed to be able to be working from home for the last 2 years, and my job actually let us put in permanent schedules to work from home. So I only have to go in 1 day a week for a couple hours and drop things off and say hi to everybody so they know I'm alive. And I was literally thinking, if I wasn't doing YouTube right now, what else would I be doing? Because yes, I'm working during the day, so I know this is recorded. I'm not going to say I don't do my job. Obviously, I'm keeping up on my job. But I'm also thinking in my head, while I'm typing a report or while I'm doing emails, I'm thinking, wonder what my next video could be. And then I could, on my lunch break, obviously I'm home, right? So I can run over into my dining room and I can be like, okay, I'm going to record as soon as I'm done. So I'm like setting up tripods, doing all the stuff. And as soon as my workday is done, I don't have to drive. I don't have to worry about, what's for dinner, doing all these things. I just walk in the living room and I'm like, or dining room, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna record. Or during the weekend, I'm recording in batch. And then I can just easily have work computer, this computer. And if I need to video edit on breaks or on lunch or do whatever, it's just kind of all intermingled together now. It's kind of like this other fun, creative job that goes with my other job. But I was just thinking, like, if I wasn't doing YouTube, what would I be doing? I would just finish my workday sitting on the couch and be like, I mean, I'm a Netflix junkie anyway, but I'd be like, okay, what's the next show? What's the next show? Right? I wouldn't have anything else to do. I don't know. It has just absorbed my life in the last year and a half. It's been crazy.
No, sorry, I was just responding to someone that was probably going to be coming up on stage here in a bit. But I feel like, there's a great myth that a lot of people are under, and it's the 9 to 5 myth that we all know about. You're raised from a young age that you're going to get out of high school, you're going to go to college, you're going to, get into a career, you're going to do it for the next 40 plus years, and then you're just going to retire and you're just going to, enjoy the rest of your remaining years, and then you'll just die. Like, that's just how it is. And there's a lot of, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I was saying at the very beginning of my live stream, like there's nothing wrong with that, because I know that content creation isn't for everyone. But with the way that things have turned out with, the pandemic and everything, and how, I'll give you a great example, the cost of homes and the cost of living and how it is just inflated in price. I feel, and I made this comment to my mom and to others in several occasions, that I feel like going forward, people aren't going to really be able to survive financially unless they have some kind of like a side hustle, or like a side hustle that has turned into a main hustle, because the way that costs have become, Angie, you talk on Clubhouse all the time about, the egg shortages that are going to happen, and that there's a lot of shortages like with lettuce, and, so you're doing that kind of stuff that helps you and your husband to be more prepared. And it's just really it's upsetting to me. Like when I talk with friends, coworkers, or whoever, they're like, yeah, I really have no desire to start my own business. I'm like, and I get that maybe their main full-time job is kind of too busy and it's too preoccupied, but like, we're now in the spring season. Like a lot of people, even for like a side hustle during the spring and summer and fall, like they could start like a lawn mowing business and maybe earn like an extra like $200 or $300 a month. Like, I don't know about you guys, but like an extra $200 or $300 a month, just mowing a few lawns that's pretty nice. Like, I'm not going to lie. And and that's just kind of how I feel about it.
I get way more from that from affiliate marketing, just saying.
Yeah.
You got to tap into it. I'm telling you.
No, and see, affiliate marketing
that.
it's essential. Sorry, I was I have my friend Lito, who's probably going to come up on stage. He was just saying, I need the link. And so he's just like, give me a few minutes. So um, give me a second. I'm a little preoccupied. I apologize to y'all.
You're good.
Um,
I think while you do that, I think a lot of people underestimate like actually you can make money online, and I think maybe because like growing up, like a lot of people would be like, especially when I was like, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 people. No, I don't think anyone. Obviously, we were kids pretty much, so I don't think anyone realized that like social media was going to be the next big thing, and creators were gonna literally like take over, and everybody's talking about how all these brands you see working with influencers now, and it's such a culture now, like the creator economy is growing, everything is just kind of shifting towards social media and digital marketing. So I don't think still a lot of people know the power of social media, and that you can actually make not just a living but live very comfortably and diversify your income sources with social media. And so now more people than ever are actually realizing that, and starting to get into this. So I think now is a very good time to get on social media and become a YouTuber, social media person.
Yeah. So really quickly, I want to go back to the chat. So my friend Lito, he said he uses Ecamm Live for instead of StreamYard. He's heard about StreamYard. He's told me before. And then Shark FinTech, he made this funny little pun. He said, "Who makes shorts? We make shorts." Anyone who knows Shark Fin knows that this guy is like super sarcastic. He makes a lot of like different little sarcastic puns.
Now,
But
Anthony, can you sing it? That's the question.
I'm not singing. I'm not.
Oh,
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sing right now. Let's see here. And then Luis said, "This is what I like a lot. This is what I like. There's a lot of love right now. Plus, there's enough to go around the table, the table, so we can all eat." And that's so true. Like there's a lot of content creators. Sorry, I was kind of moving around. There are those content creators who don't really want to help people out. But as we three have found out via Clubhouse, more than half these creators on Clubhouse, whether it be Viper, Roberto Blake, Professor Nez, let's see here, Christina Smallhorn, all these people, they're more than willing, and they want to see other people succeed.
I was gonna say JJ and all them. I mean, yeah, they run rooms all the time, right? It's just been, and I don't know if you guys have noticed the YouTube rooms have really picked up. It was like there was a lull for a while, and now it just seems like every time I get on, there's something else that's kind of going on, which I love. Yeah, it's been really cool.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing that, and then Lucy said he's like the creator economy, and that's exactly what it is. Like Nez always says that kind of rhymes, but he always says that right now is the best time to be a content creator, and it's so true, because there's so many companies that have realized, okay, well, we're not making much money off of these paid TV advertisements. Let's reach out to these content creators and give them maybe a 10% cut of something, and so they can get our brand and our name out there. And so that not only benefits them, but it benefits you as the creator. And that's the one thing that I've always loved. Because I think I heard somewhere that for a Super Bowl spot, I think they have to pay $50K for
It's actually, it's millions. It's more, it's millions for a 30-second spot. But the funny thing is if you think about, for me, example, my husband and I just got rid of DirecTV, probably in the fall. We were paying, oh my gosh, I probably shouldn't even say it was like $130 a month for DirecTV. And I literally watched maybe 5 channels.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's 600 channels available, but we weren't watching them. So we thought, okay, we're just going to do Netflix. And then we do HBO and Stars and Disney Plus when there's a series that we want to watch and a season came out. So we pop it on for a month, we crash everything, shut it back off, right? And I think that's kind of where this whole world is going. So when you're on Netflix, when you're on any streaming platform, where are you seeing commercials? And then if you're listening to podcasts all the time, or you're either in Clubhouse and that's your kind of your radio in the background, you're listening to groups, you're on Spotify, where are the commercials? So I think a lot of these businesses are realizing, what are we going to spend our money at? No one's going to see it. And even if they do a radio ad, you know, you're going to hear it and you might turn down your radio while you're driving and then turn it back up because you don't want to hear the commercial. And then you're going to remember it. So I think there's just this whole turn in the whole industry of advertising, because instead of even doing commercials, yes, we can block out, we can get YouTube Premiere and not watch commercials anymore. But if they give a product to me and I'm like, you know, this is a sponsored cup, and every time I'm in a video, I'm using it. It's not, you know, I'm being funny, but every time, you know, I'm picking up a cup or I'm doing something or something's in the background of my video, that is going to get them so much, even if you're a small content creator. And that's why I always tell people who are brand new to this, number one, if you're small, they don't care, because if your video was watched 200, 300 times, that was 200 or 300 times someone saw this cup, where they wouldn't have seen it on any type of a commercial. And then the other thing is age. I think it's so funny. I came into this, I'm in my 40s, and I came into this in my 40s, and I'm still doing what these, you know, 20 something gamers are doing, if not more already at this point. So I think it's just this, just what Professor Nez always says, it's just so open. There's so much that we can do. And it's out there for everybody. Everybody, you're going to connect to somebody different. Everybody's going to like me or they're not going to like me or whatever. And you're going to find your audience regardless. It just takes time, but it's there.
I love that. I think you're muted, bro.
So really quick, no, for sure. Like before Lalo says what he says, I want to bring someone because he doesn't have too much time. He has to get ready for work. But I talk about this guy all the time. He's become a really good friend of mine. I give him crap. He gives me crap. It's just a whole lot of crap thrown back and forth to each other. Lito is in the house. A little bit of Japan.
Yo, what's up, people? Yes. How's the crap throwing going? Is it flinging? It's going everywhere. Everybody's getting messy. What's going on here?
Well, Lito, you always throw the most crap, though.
Well, I like how it now split our screens so everybody can see a little bit more of what
I like that.
Yeah, we're kind of we're a bit more have presence. Hey guys, how's it going? Nice to see you again, Angie.
Yes, you too.
Nice. How's it growing? Should I say?
It's growing. It's growing. Did you see see, everything's backwards on this. My pillow, I can't point. My little, I made my own 1,000 subscriber pillow because until I get my play button someday, right?
Yeah, I see that. And you have like a little gnome. Like
I just bought him today. Yes, he was one of the, I was telling them earlier, I'm into the Facebook Reel economy content creator thing now. And so I was going around Menards today and I was videotaping, and it was, part of a joke because I kept going around the store going, don't buy it. I don't need it. I don't need it. And then I thought, well, wouldn't it be funny if I found something and went, I need it. So he was I need it.
That's hilarious. I love that idea. That's awesome. Well, yeah, great to see you again. And nice to meet you, Lalo. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Yes, you are. Nice to meet you, brother. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, I like your lights in the background. You got the pink, you got the purple going. We got like the Power Rangers kind of vibe going on here. Just need Anthony to turn on his color, and then we're good.
I'm still working on that part.
Oh, all Anthony, right. I'm telling you, I'll have to find my box. But I got these on Amazon and they were so inexpensive. Wait.
My GVM lights that are like right here, they actually have
these. They're Govies, and it was just this little box, and it was like, I want to say like $20, and then it comes with this remote, and you can all these colors.
Nice.
I will make everyone that's watching the stream or on stage with me right now a deal. By next week, because there's an app that I've already downloaded it. I just haven't had the time to really mess around with it. I will get the app going so I can mess around with these color so I can change these lights, because these GVM lights, you can change the color. I just haven't taken the time. So I'm making a promise to everyone watching or listening or on stage that I will figure this out by next time, because I love the fact that they can do all that. So
I think you need to take this dresser behind you, scooch it into the middle, and you need to light up the whole inside of that sucker. And then, so you do a color on the inside, and then see with this thing behind me, it's actually spaced from the wall. This is like a trick. It's on these huge nails. So it actually has a gap between it and the wall. So the lights are behind it and have a reflective. So you can do lights on the inside of that, and then give yourself a space and put a different color on the back of it. So you've got this Yeah. See, let me just come over and I'll decorate for you.
There you go.
I'll just come over and I'll visit you and I'll decorate your room for you.
I think Angie's got a new series kind of forming here. It's
let me
Glow
do your
with
studio.
Angie.
Well, my thing is, I don't know about like the brightness. I have so many like other lights, and and then I got one down here because it's a girl thing for our chins. I'll just be honest. But yeah, so I don't know. Let's see, oops, now I'm going the wrong way.
Yeah, that's a bit more Halloween, like kind of
Like
vibes.
something out of Psycho or something.
Well,
Yeah.
colors, and see, now that one's kind of more orangey.
Kinda
I don't
warm,
know. This
yeah.
is the first time I've used the lights behind me with the blue, so I'm not really sure. I don't know what I'm doing with it. So but I'll just play around on Anthony's live instead of on mine.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Go,
I appreciate
yeah.
that. Full love.
Go light 'em up.
Maybe the more of the yellowy tone. Does that look better than the white?
That actually does look a little better.
Yeah, maybe I need the yellowy tones instead of the bright whites. Okay, we'll just stay right there for right
So, Lito, I want
Mm-hmm.
you to kind of, for those watching who don't know what you do, what's your channel about?
Yeah, well, the channel is a little bit of Japan, so I like kind of live stream, predominantly live streaming. So I'm one of the weird YouTubers that started off with live streams. I don't do a lot of pre-recorded content, but I am working on it. But basically, I'm either at home like this in the studio doing kind of like these kind of creative content creator chats and bringing on guests and whatnot, or I'm walking around in the Kansai area, which is like Osaka, Kyoto, Kobe, Nara. I live in Nara now. And yeah, the last one, I was listening while I was getting ready, and you mentioned last time we were walking around, it was actually Kobe. We were in Kobe, and we were going to have dinner. We checked out a local business. So it's all about like kind of introducing Japan to people who have not been there for the first time or have been there and really want to come, because obviously its borders are still super tight. So people are kind of living vicariously through these in real life live streams. And I heard you talking about, you wanting to get out and show us, Utah and your beautiful area. I think people, when it comes to in IRL streams, like in real life streams, there is a certain amount of like connection, insta connection that you make when you are out and about, or even just talking like this. But especially when you're out and about, people are like, whoa, what's that? And it's like real-time feedback that can affect what you're doing. And that's what I love about IRL streams. So
I just have to point out something real quickly. You totally pulled a Canadian right there, and you said a boat.
A boat? Yeah, that's right. You got to get oot and a boot. Yeah, that's my Canadian content coming up for sure. Yeah.
For those who don't know, Lito is actually originally from Vancouver, Canada, and he moved to Japan like 18 years ago or something.
Yeah, that's right. That's nice.
And so he still sometimes says pronounces things a little bit like Canadian. So,
oh yeah, for sure, eh? Yeah. let's get our maple syrup on and get some French toast going. Here we go.
So I want to go back to the chat real quickly. Let's see here. Elvira said, I've known Roberto Blake since Google Plus days, and man, he has grown. And it's true. Like Roberto Blake, like, I mean, he talks a lot. He's very winded in the clubhouse rooms, as Angie knows and as Lalo knows. Like, he's very opinionated, but he gives good insight and good feedback to people. And yeah, he can be blunt, but it's like a truthful blunt. Like, he's just like, this is what people focus on. This is what they really should be focusing on. And oh, and by the way, Annette is complimenting you guys on the lighting, saying, so now I really got to step up my game because I want to get these compliments about my lighting. So I will
get into the game, Anthony.
I know, right? I have one job. And so, but then Sharkfin Tech, you said, that is amazing, Elvira. Roberto drops plenty of free content creation gems in addition to his paid courses. He's earned mine and everyone's respect. And it's so true. Like, people who are watching this, whether it be live or on the replay, like, if you don't know who Roberto Blake is, this guy is a genius when it comes to YouTube. Like, he knows the ins and outs. He's been doing this for so long now. And like I said, he can be blunt. Like, I remember I got up on a clubhouse stage one time that Viper was hosting, and Roberto Blake was up there, and I brought up a question about my media deck. He's like, well, does it match your colors of your YouTube channel? I'm like, no. He's like, well, you need to change that. And like, he was just blunt. He's like, change it. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I feel like I just got like scolded by Roberto Blake in a few words, but he doesn't do it to be mean. He does it to help people, because these are mistakes that he's had to learn through. So
I could honestly listen to him talk. Like, I know some people are just like, oh my gosh, he's on a rant. But when he goes from the main room and then they start another room later and I could literally just listen to him. I don't know what it is. I always pick something up and then I'll go watch a couple. YouTube keeps serving me up his videos, which I think is absolutely hilarious. And I keep watching them. And I just watched one from 2 years ago about, growing your channel. And I was like, man, he's just, I don't know, one of the most intelligent people I think I've ever just sat and just listened to. So quick, right? And he's just so smart, so smart.
Go ahead, Lalo.
Oh, I was just going to say that I really believe that none of us enjoy like literally hearing constructive criticism in the moment, but on long term, we actually get to learn from that. And I know like over the years, little things in my own videos or my own content, people would point out like, hey, like, either you move the camera too fast or you speak too fast or you kind of have a lot of pauses. And obviously reading those comments after I spent 10 hours working on a YouTube video is not nice. But on the long term, I actually now I'm aware of those things. And I feel like I've learned and grown so much from the little details over the years that people would point out. Because it's, when somebody like, if I show my videos to my mom or my brother or my friends, like they're most likely going to say that they're perfect because they want to support me. Like they will be honest with me, but a lot of things they won't point out. And so I have all these people online who don't really know me, who don't really owe me anything. So when they point something out, I know that it's for real because they could literally care less about me and my content, and they're taking the time to point these things out. So I learn and I improve. So I really believe in constructive criticism. And I think if Roberto took the time to tell you that, I think it was pretty much for your own benefit. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. Roberto Blake, he's like, I don't want to say this too lightly, but he's, in my opinion, up there with Mr. Beast. Like he's very knowledgeable about the platform. Like he knows what works and what doesn't. And like I said, he's not blunt to be rude. He's blunt to help you. Like, and that's how more than half the content creators that we all know, they are. Like, Lito, you and I both know a guy named Just Jerome Me Around, and JJ has gotten on, and Just Jerome Me Around, he's gotten on my case. Like, Anthony's like, when are we going to see your live stream of your city? Like, he just keeps like pushing this kind of stuff. He doesn't push. He doesn't do it to make me mad. He does it because he knows that it will not only help my channel out, but it'll help people to relate to me more, to say like, okay, well, this guy is just a regular guy. And, I was in Professor Nez's live stream this morning, and he did a channel audit on my channel. He's like, are you ready for this, Anthony? And I was like, all right, here we go. And I was like, and I remember I even posted, I'm like, uh-oh, with the little sad emoji, and he just laughed like, no, don't worry about it. But he just he gave suggestions, and he's like, I only am saying this is like because I care about you. I want you to be successful. And he's like, please don't be. He's like everyone else. He's like, don't be offended by what I say. He's like, because this is just my personal take. And when it comes to YouTube, like we are all learning. Like even Nez is still learning, like on in different ways. But that's the great part about being a content creator. Is like people who get into this, they've just entered into a huge world of unlimited exploration. Plus, you have the backing of so many other content creators who are like, hey, how can I help you? I'm gonna put Lito on the spotlight for a sec. Lito was there for me last June and last September. So last June, my mom had a light stroke, and Lito was there for me. He's like, you don't have to come on my live stream if you don't want to. Like, your mom's important, but I still was there. And he's just like, he even said on his live stream, like, my thoughts and prayers are with you and your family right now. And then last September, I had some mental health issues, and he told everybody on his live streams, like, you guys need to really pray for Tony, like for Anthony, because he's going through a hard time right now. And that's the greatest part about being a content creator. It's like you have this whole community that's like there to back you, and just really just like, hey, we're not going to let you give up, so don't you dare give up.
Amen to that.
Amen. Yeah, nice, Anthony. Thanks for putting me on the spot in a good way. I thought you were going to grill me with some tough questions, but you're giving me some support and love there. And yeah, and for sure. I mean, the whole thing about YouTube, and once you get into it and start building that community, it is more than just people chatting. It's more than just comments on a screen and likes. It's real people that you're connecting with, right? And the more that you can befriend them and really interact with them, like I've made some of the best friends. We talked about just roaming around, JJ. He's like, seriously, I've never met the guy, but like we talk almost every day, online or on chat or something like that. And it's like, wow, it's like I felt that I'd known you for years. Like, where are you? What are you doing today, brother? Kind of thing. It really feels like a family. It's awesome. But just to get back to about like some of the topics you said, I totally agree with the constructive criticism. People writing you. It's kind of like there's this lecture by Andy Pausch. It's called The Last Lecture. He was this university professor that knew he was going to die because of pancreatic cancer, and he did this thing, and it went viral on YouTube. But one of the things I took from it, so many things I took from it. One of the things was, why coach is writing you so hard. When he's giving you, do me 10 more push-ups, you got to do this and that, is because he cares. Because he cares about you, right? If he didn't care about it, he wouldn't be giving you that hard advice. So it's like people giving you tough love and saying it from a place of love, right? For you to grow and succeed. But I just wanted to go back because before I joined, you guys were talking a little bit about like, if I weren't doing YouTube, I don't know what I would do. Like, I think that's so awesome. I don't know how long Andy's been doing it. I just checked out Lalo's channel. He's been doing it maybe 6 years. I see some videos from 6 years. Roberto Blake, 13 years. I think Anthony and I are just kind of like newborns. Like, I think we've been doing it for like about a year, right?
I'm a newborn too. I've just been doing it for a year and 4 months, I think.
Awesome. Yeah, I just passed the year mark. So it's like, yay, we're newborns. We're newborn YouTubers. But, and being in the presence of giants and people who have a lot of more wisdom.
Yes, Lalo is a giant.
Lalo's
a giant.
I know. I just
really
saw that.
I appreciate that. But honestly, I do want to say, like, for a lot of people that I met lately on Clubhouse who are fairly new to YouTube, like literally, like, you guys know so much, and literally, like, I wish I knew all of those things that you guys know when I, a year into my journey as a creator, because I probably would have grown way faster just because of all the knowledge that like is shared every day. And that is why I love these Clubhouse rooms, because like a lot of people say, like, instead of you making all these mistakes and learning from them, you have all these people and we're all continuously making mistakes, on the platform, and we get to share those things, and not just the mistakes, also the accomplishments and successes, but mainly the mistakes. Because when we hear somebody talk about something they did that didn't work out, now we know how to kind of change that and apply it in a different way. And now we get to see if it works, and if it doesn't, we go back and we share, and we all learn from each other, and we all get to make less mistakes, learn more, and grow faster. And that's why I'm not pro of like people gatekeeping knowledge, because I really think that them trying to gatekeep things that they know is really not going to help them grow any faster. And at the end of the day, we should all remember that we're competing against ourselves. Like, we can't be like trying to compete against the next person, because there's always going to be somebody that's bigger in terms of numbers and in terms of expertise and talent than we are. So at least for me, I know that I'm just competing against myself from the day before, and every day I try to improve. So even though I look up to all these big creators, I would never see myself competing against them, because why would I want to compete against Mr. Beast when he already has almost 100 million subscribers? Like, it just doesn't make sense. So I'm just competing against myself and trying to improve day by day. And I think that's the best way to learn from my peeps on Clubhouse, myself, and just anyone that is willing to share knowledge with me.
We need to get Lito back on Clubhouse. He technically has a profile, but he doesn't come on there.
I made a profile when it first came out, and I was like, I wasn't sure what it was all about. I was trying to still figure it out. So, but it seems like it's mature to the point where maybe you guys can hold my hand and bring me in there and like, hey, everybody, this is Lito. He's from Japan.
No, you need to come on Thursday nights. Thursday nights, it's my 10 p.m. Eastern Standard. So I don't know what that would be for you. It's probably in the morning for you, but that is like it's continuously grown. And so I've kind of held that place for the last couple of weeks. And that one we can go, well, this last week I cut it off at the 2-hour mark. So it went till midnight. The week before, I literally had other people moderating and I fell asleep, and they went until 2:30 in the morning. And it is just this it's just this amazing group of people, and we talk about everything, content creation and support and whatever. And yeah, I mean, they're friends. Like, who would have thought? Here I am, like, headphones in, laying in bed, falling asleep, and then someone says my name. What? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Affiliate marketing, right? Okay, gotta go back to bed. Like this
That's
thing.
funny.
But yeah, I mean, that's what we do, and yeah, it's amazing. We'd love to have you. You'd be a blessing to a lot of people, I'm sure.
Rito, my mom's
Wow.
in Clubhouse.
Your mom's in Clubhouse?
She officially joined, and she was there in the chat a few weeks ago. So
wow. Okay, well, if your mom's in Clubhouse, I gotta join. There,
You
I'm there.
gotta come.
Yeah,
There you go.
everyone's doing it.
Everybody's doing it.
But I just wanted to say, like, wow, Lalo just dropped some huge bombs of wisdom there. I think I need to address, like, when he said the gatekeeping of information stuff. Yeah, I think that's a very old way of thinking. And it used to be like, oh, I don't want to give out my secrets and this and that. But I really think if you flip the script and you're like, guys, I'm going to share with you what I learned, like, think about Clubhouse and just information in general, whether it's technical or your just personal experience, everybody's going to win on a platform like YouTube. Because as a in real life streamer, doing collabs with other people and showing them how to, like, I'm the tech guy in my in real life streaming group. Everybody asks me, like, what gimbal do you use? What are the settings? Like, what app do you use? So I'm the tech guy, right? And I'm just like, yeah, I'll make a tutorial just for you guys. I won't even publish to YouTube. I'll just publish it for my group. And they're like, oh, that's awesome, dude. And then it just makes everybody stronger. It's a weird kind of I love how Lalo said you're competing against yourself, but I think that old school mentality is you're competing against other people in your niche. Well, you kind of are, but you kind of aren't either, right? You're kind of also like, and you foster that community, there's a lot of cross-pollination with your viewers and interaction that goes on. Like people that discovered me on my stream now go on to Anthony's stream and vice versa. And I'm seeing a lot of that. And that's really exciting for me.
That's funny you said that about being the tech person, because I was actually going to ask you. Your camera looks so good, and I don't want to invest in, like, I use my phone to record everything because I'm moving my tripod around, doing all this stuff. But because I'm starting to live stream a little bit more now, obviously I'm setting up and I have an iMac M1, and I'm just using the little camera up there. Would it be more beneficial to actually buy a camera just to put there, or should I go the full camera route? What are you using?
Okay, so I'll tell you my setup, and it evolved over time. So it was like a webcam. What do you call those? Logitech
That's
webcams.
what I was looking at. Yeah.
And actually, your Logitech webcam probably won't be much of an upgrade to your M1 MacBook because they're based on the same technology and their sensor sizes are very similar. So you won't get that kind of blurry background, that really nice detail. So what I did is I stepped up to the Canon M50 Mark I, and that was about maybe a $400 US investment. But now that they have the Mark II out, if you really want to go cheap, there's like the Sony EV. I don't know the name because I don't really look into that one. But the Sony EV1 is for bloggers. It doesn't allow you to change any cameras. That's one that's really hot on the market. But get a
EV1, right?
EV1, I think.
Yeah.
ZV1. I'm sorry, ZV1.
ZV1. Yeah.
Gotcha. Or you can get go used if you're not sure if you want to go full on. Like, just get a good used one. Try to do your homework and maybe get a Mark I M50. I think it's gonna be good enough for what you need, and all you need is whatever lens that comes with it. That you can crop later when you're doing live streams, right? You can use the thing, but the lighting setup you have right now is really good because you have a little bit of distance to the wall or that blue lighting. So as long as you have a little distance there and you put the camera as close as possible to you, you're gonna get that kind of blurry background and sharp focus on your eyes and your face. So, but yeah, if you need any more technical help, yeah, I'm here to support you. I'm open in Japan hours. No, but seriously, like,
I just thought it was funny you brought that up because the whole time I'm like, okay, I love the light stuff that I got going on now, but I just want to like do just a little bit of the fuse blur back there, and I can't do it with just this camera.
There are digital solutions to it too. They'll try to blur a background, but it's not always as organic looking, right? Sometimes the edges look kind of weird, but yeah, just step it up. If you have a little bit more money, invest into one of those two cameras, and I think that'll get you on your way. What I use right now is a Sony A7C, and why I got that's a $2,000 camera, but why I got it is because I wanted to use it for multi-purpose. So not just for live streams, but for going out and making cinematic travel videos. right? So that's the reason I invested in that. But I didn't get that right away. I went for the M50 and I was like, okay, I think I need something that will help me do other YouTube content. So I got a better rig. So I think you'll find what works for you, and we just dive into it a little bit. Yeah.
Thing that I would like to mention, that because me and Lito, like, we talk about tech a lot. Like, you never want to stick me and Lito in the same room, like in real life, because we probably bore people with all the tech stuff we talk about. And I'm sure Lito could agree with that. But Lito did tell me because he was a part of my first live stream, and he was telling me it was either before or after that when he got his Canon M50, it's great for video making. He's like, but it's terrible when it comes to taking photographs. Now, I know, Angie, you're not really into the whole photographs kind of thing, but like, keep that in mind. Anyone who's watching this or listening to this, like, it's a great camera, and I think media stands by it, but they also stand by the Sony ZV-1. It really comes down to like, what is your preference? I have a DSLR right now. It's kind of outdated. And so this year, I'm probably going to be upgrading my camera and getting a better camera. And so who knows? I might switch to Sony. I don't know. I might stay with Canon, but that's just how I am. But it really just comes down to personal preference. But I would definitely, like Vito said, Angie, I would definitely like even go on the Facebook Marketplace in your area, and just obviously, you want to inspect the camera before you even give anyone any cash or money for it. But if it works and if it feels like it can suit your needs, then do it. Like, there's nothing wrong with used cameras unless they're broken, in my honest opinion.
Yeah, and I'm really sad because I was looking at the ZV-1 I have been for a while, and if you guys have not looked on them on Amazon or anywhere else, they are super duper hard to find. I don't know if it's, shipping issues or whatever, but I had my heart set on the white one. I don't know why I wanted the white one. And the white one's totally gone everywhere. It's you get the little flip up screen and everything, and oh, look at that. Yes. You're muted. Oh, there you go.
Sorry, yeah, this is the Canon M50, but I'm a stickler for the white ones too.
Yeah, and I really wanted the white one, and so it's really hard to find, but I've noticed, like, every time I get on and look for the ZV-1s, it's like 5 left, and then they're gone, and then there's a different, someplace else. So I'm kind of looking around. We'll see. But again, I'm still using my phone for actual recording of my videos, and it's just been because everything's Mac, and I can just plug it in, and it drops in my iPhoto, and I go to my iMovie, and I'm just totally Mac based. But I just really want, if I'm doing more lives, this to clear up a little bit.
May I ask a question to Lito?
Sure.
So I'm trying to sell my A7R2 and just kind of save up a little more to get the A7S3 from Sony. Obviously, that is a really expensive camera, and then also getting a good lens and everything. But like, I've also been looking into the A7C. So would you be able to kind of like maybe summarize what things I would be missing out on if I get the A7C as opposed to A7S3?
Okay, we're gonna geek out a bit, guys, here. So we're talking about Sony photography cameras and how they can be like used for video as well. So Lalo, I have a question for you. So I just had a quick look at your channel. Are you mainly a photographer that does video, or a YouTuber that does photography? So what's your priority?
So actually, I think I need to change my channel banner, because I think it gives the illusion that I make photography videos, but I'm just an entertainment channel. Like, I do pranks, I do vlogs, I do like just entertainment videos.
Okay.
So I do for my actual job take a lot of photography. I do wedding films. So I would definitely need something that is versatile, like very good for video mainly, but I also do professional photography for my job. So I mean, something that's kind of going to be good at both.
Okay, and then the second question, thank you. And the second question I have for you is, how much color grading do you do on your videos?
I have been looking into log and learning about color grading log, so I would love to get into that, but I don't think it's a need. Like, I really don't think that I'm gonna, spend all these extra money just for the ability to, color grade log or S log or any of that. So not too much.
Okay, awesome. So that, I mean, I'm asking these questions to know what your needs are and what your goals are. So like my experience, and oh, by the way, if everybody's like, what's a log? Isn't that something you put on a fire? What's an S log? Is that like a steel log?
Yeah,
What's going
sorry
on?
about that,
Okay.
guys.
No, it's all good. So what he's talking about basically is, and what I said about color grading. So you know when you see like a Peter McKinnon video and it looks really like super cinematic, it's like contrasty and the black and the corners are kind of darkened and it looks like Hollywood grade. Well, it doesn't come out of camera like that. You use software to kind of change the color. It's like editing photos, right? You get the photos, you know, you put on the Instagram filter, you put on the foodie filter, and it makes it look awesome, right? So but what we're talking about is different formats give different abilities to manipulate that color data more. And the Sony A7C is not in 422. I think it's in 222 or something. So you don't have as much to play with. However, if your main thing is like you're not really in a color grading, you just kind of want something to get really high quality video and photos, I think the A7C is a good well-rounded thing. What you're losing though is the ability to, if you use the A7R2, which is mainly for photography because it's resolution, what it does is it allows you to take any really good image with good glass and then crop in as much as you want without losing quality. You won't get that grain, right? You won't get that deterioration. So there's a, you know, for someone like me, I'm not too much into cropping in. I just want to get it in camera and then put it up on Instagram and I'm done. Like put a few filters on and I'm done. I mean, a good if you want to see kind of what it can look like with a little bit of color grading, I just did a live stream last night and I finally put in a 10-minute trailer video, like a kind of countdowner timer, and a lot of the first minute shots were done on the A7C with a little bit of color grading from S-Log. So if you want to see how it can push from S-Log, then yeah, you can see. But I couldn't I couldn't saturate it as much as I wanted to be honest. Right. So you can find different picture profiles to get what you want. I think the new one is not S-Log. It's their new Sony one that came out, and you can get it with a firmware update. So if you do minimal color grading, you can just try to set it to whatever that new one is. Maybe I'll have to message you, Lalo, and figure out the name. Yeah, totally. But it's picture profile 4 on the A7C. You can tweak it a little bit to make it emulate that kind of less color grading straight out of camera. I think it's a good A7R2 is full frame too, right?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, so you're not compromising on full frame, but you might be compromising on the ability to crop in your photos. But it sounds like if you're more of hybrid stuff and you're not going to color grade, it might be a good way to go.
And just my last question, so I don't like bore the audience with all these tech talk. ISO, like I know the A7S III is very good for low light, and you can really crank the ISO up a lot and not lose quality. I think mainly for my wedding films that I do, you guys know, like at weddings they usually like to dim the lights and just have like this moody vibe. So that's the number one thing that I've always had trouble with. So how does the A7C keep up with ISO? Like, you know, can you bring it up a lot or not really?
Are we talking about photography specifically or video?
Mainly video. I think mainly video. Okay. Like how does low light work?
It's not as good as like maybe the A7S III. Yeah, that would be the camera I'd upgrade to. So we're talking about closer to Hollywood kind of level camera and low light capability. But I haven't done a lot of low light video with it, to be honest. But the low light photography, I went up to about 1,000 ISO. I don't like to bump it up either. I go 100. I go to the less grainy settings. But I was in Kyoto a couple of weeks ago doing night photography. I do a lot of light trails and stuff, long exposures, and I haven't had any problems with the ISO for photography. So I can't speak much about video though.
Well, I appreciate that. That actually makes me way more confident about considering the A7C.
Yeah,
so thank you.
Awesome. You're very welcome, man. Yeah, maybe I should make like a video about it, and then you can ask me more questions. I'll put that in. I'll find you on your channel, like your Instagram or whatnot, and get back to you about that. Cheers.
Awesome. That was some great advice. I'm more of a Canon guy, so I was like, I can't really help out with this because I'm more of a Canon guy. Like I know a lot about Canon cameras, but the one thing I can say is that you know, Annette was saying here in the chat, she's like, I have an M50, but I'm going to sell it. I want the Sony ZV-1, and that is a smart choice, Annette. I can honestly say that is a smart choice. I don't I don't have either camera, but I can tell, yeah, from talking with people like Lito and others who have had the M50, the Sony ZV-1 is a lot better. It's a lot more crisp. That's what Professor Nez, I think, uses for his live streams. And Luis in the chat, he actually, let's see here, where is it? Sorry, he was saying how he actually won that camera from, so he was saying, I have a black and white Sony ZV-1. Luis won this from Professor Nez in a giveaway. And then, of course, Sharkfin had to poke fun at him. He's like, Luis flexing that Sony. So, I mean, really, when it comes down to it, like, make sure it's an upgrade from your, like, so like Angie, I use the webcam right up here. And so I'm planning on getting a better DSLR that I can use for photography, but I can also use for like live streaming as well. And I just have to kind of emphasize that, make sure it's a better setup than your last one. Obviously, there's a lot better webcams or cameras in general than the ones that are built into computers nowadays. I mean, I'm not dissing on Apple. I'm not dissing on PC. I'm not dissing on any of these, but it's just that if you want like a nice, clean, crisp look, like Lito or Professor Nez or something, you got to put the extra money out. And yeah, it's going to be expensive, but really, when it comes down to it, like, why not try? Like, why not put the money out? Like, if you have to save up.
I'm just afraid if I buy it, I'm not going to use my phone for actual video recording anymore. And then I'm going to go into a whole new world of trying to record my videos. That's what
Just remember, Angie, perfection is non-existent in the YouTube world. Like, everyone's consistently making mistakes. Like, I used to always make that mistake, like where I'd be in the middle of recording a video and then I'd mess up. I'd stop the entire video and I just re-record it again. And I'd sometimes be working on recording a single video for like 3 or 4 hours. That's how much of a perfectionist I was trying to be. And then
that's what editing is for.
Exactly.
Exactly. I learned that really quick. I can't tell you how many cuts I have of where I'm talking about something and I'll literally I'm like thinking of the word. And so I'll stop. I'll be like, okay, you're going to do this. And oh shoot, what is that word? What is, and then I'll just leave. I leave like this pause, right? Because then when I'm editing, I can find the vocal and I see this big break. And then I'll go back to, and then you're going to want this because it like took me a second, but I'm just like, whatever. I just roll the camera for, however long it takes me and I chop it all out. I learned that really quick.
Yeah. And I'm sure that because like I've been friends with Lito now for over a year, and I'm sure, and then I was actually making that mistake of trying to be a perfectionist, like when I first became friends with Lito. And if Lito had probably known that, he probably would have said like, dude, just post the videos. Like, don't worry about perfection. He's like, just post the video. And that's really like what it comes down to. But yeah, I think that Lito, you gave Lalo some really great advice on it, because
oh man, I'm so honored that Lalo is asking me for advice about cameras when I see his channel is like super huge. That is such an honor to answer you.
Come on, man.
Yeah, man. No, but
I
seriously,
really appreciate that.
He's so humble. He really is.
No, not at all, man. Like, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, people helping people when they got questions. So again, I'm gonna try to address Angie's concern about like, well, if I buy that camera, I'm not gonna use I have a feeling you're using iPhone since you're a Mac person like me. I use Windows too, but mainly for gaming. But I'm very Mac centric, and I will say this, Angie, with my experience. So, to be honest, your smartphone's always gonna be with you, no matter where you go, right? But you're not always gonna bring your big camera. So this is my workflow or my way of thinking about my cameras. So the different tools for the different job, right? So like for live streams, I'm definitely going on this. It's basically parked here. But when I want to get fancy, want to take some nice photos or make some nice B-roll, I will bring the big camera out, and bring it out for the day. And it's a little bit heavier and it's a little bit hard. Oh my God, I got like the RSC what is it, DJI gimbal. The thing's like 2 kilograms. It's like,
see, I've got one of those too, but it's for my phone. I've got a DJI for being out in the garden, but it's a phone one.
Nice. So like I don't want to bring that thing on like hikes. You know, that thing is super heavy. Right now, I'm at my max capacity. I'm bringing the gimbal, bringing my tripod, bringing the camera and the phone. I got the whole kitchen sink, but if I can, I'll just go as light as possible. So I have a feeling for you, you're gonna find out what works for you too, right? Like, so if you're in the garden and you don't mind bringing the bigger camera out, and it's not too much of a hassle, yeah, keep using it. But I have a feeling you're still going to be using your iPhone for all those little things where you're on the go, you're shopping at Maynard's or whatever. It'll still be your probably everyday carry camera. So don't worry about that. Honestly, I use my iPhone more than I use my other camera, to be honest. But like, it depends on the job. You know, if Lalo's doing wedding photography, wedding videos, and those type of things, you definitely want the high quality. You're gonna be bringing out the big guns for the clients and this and that. So it really depends on what you're using it for.
Can you imagine if someone showed up to take photos at a wedding and all they had was an iPhone camera? Like, all right, everyone pose up. Like, I'd be so, if I was the person like that was paying for it, like, I'd be so pissed. And like, that's one thing I always have to emphasize to people is that, like, you know, being a photographer, like, I know there's a lot of like wannabe photographers out there. They're like, oh, I took this sick photo like on my phone. I'm like, that's great, but can you do the same on a DSLR?
Well, there's I mean, to add to that, like, they're just tools, right? Like, yes, there's a bit of if you're working for a client, right, and they're paying you the big bucks, and you show up with the iPhone, there is definitely like a gap. There's like, what the hell? I didn't pay you to take pictures with the iPhone. However, like, a lot of tech YouTubers are out there, and they're comparing the photography from iPhones, the video from iPhones and DSLRs, and it's harder and harder to figure out which is which.
It is.
So at some point, we're gonna get to the point where it's like, yeah, is that the newest iPhone? Oh, awesome, you're taking my wedding with that. Like, yeah, we're gonna get to that point where it's like, damn, the smartphones might go over.
The only reason
the
only reason I said that is because coming from the background of a photographer, like, and people like try to compare their iPhone to my DSLR. I'm like, okay, like, iPhone is great because I have one. It's right here. But at the same time, like, it's limited in its capabilities. And so that's when I want to pull out my DSLR. And so, like, I mean, Lito, I believe you're right that we're eventually probably going to get to that point. But at the same time, like, when we get to that point with iPhones and smartphones, how far along do you think the DSLR is going to be? They're going to be that much better, because it always seems like it's like a kind of like a rat race when it comes down to it. Like, you know, the iPhone gets up to here where the DSLRs are, and then the DSLR companies are like, okay, well, we'll see that and we'll raise it like that. And
well, I think we're still going to need different tools, and it's just like everything gets miniaturized, right? So it's like before iPhones had really good cameras, everybody was with those point and shoot cameras, you know, like the Sony Power Shots, and you know, they fit in your pocket, right? But and then like nobody, I don't see them sold anywhere anymore, like hardly.
I still have mine and I don't know what to do with it. That's so funny you say.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
celebrating my 20-year wedding anniversary and this weekend or in a couple days. And my husband bought me a really, really nice Canon for our wedding to take on the honeymoon and everything. And it's all digital and it's got the little cards and all that stuff. And it's just sitting in a box. And I'm like, I hate to throw it away because, you know, back then it was hundreds of dollars and it's probably worth, you know, I don't know, $5 right now. But I feel like, what do I do with it? Because even if I took pictures with it, what am I going to, I don't know. I feel so bad for this old equipment that you just don't know what to do with anymore.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Lalo. Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say, kind of like add on to the point about like the gap in between an iPhone camera and a DSLR. If you're gonna go film a wedding, like, of course, I think the main factor there is that a lot of people who don't know about photography or are not interested, they're gonna think that the iPhone is, you know, miles below the DSLR. Even though there are a lot of very, very hyper talented people taking amazing photography with their iPhone. Now, granted, the iPhone has a very tiny sensor that is not going to capture as much light, meaning there's going to be a lot of grain in like when lighting conditions are, you know, below optimal. But still, there are people who know how to edit them to where they almost seem like they were taken on a DSLR. But the average person who is at a wedding is going to think like, what is this guy doing, getting paid, you know, big bucks to come shoot a wedding with an iPhone? That's the main thing. But hopefully in the next couple of years, maybe the next 10 years, as iPhones continue to get better, I don't know, maybe one day it will be normalized that people show up to film a wedding video with an iPhone and some accessories for the cameras that are going to make it very, very highly produced video at the end of the day. So just comes down to expertise.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And Anthony, I watched some videos that you recommended where you can actually use the phone for a webcam and how they use a third-party app to do that. Yeah, I watched some videos and I thought, well, if anything, I don't know if, my phone's not the newest one, but I'm thinking, I wonder if it's an 11 Pro. And so I'm thinking, well, I wonder if those cameras would be better than what's up there. But this is a brand new iMac M1 that I just got, over the summer. So I'm thinking, I don't know, how great is the camera up there? Maybe I just need to do some adjusting. I have no idea.
In the words
try it out, Angie. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry, Anthony.
In the words of Omar Altakori, who did those videos that Angie's talking about, you got to make yourself look drippy crispy on camera. Drippy crispy.
I remember.
Got to make yourself look drippy crispy.
Yeah. I don't want to look too crispy, though. I don't want people to see the wrinkles and how that I'm actually in my 40s. So, I mean, you guys are getting all the natural hair tonight because I have all this natural wave. I usually curl out of it and, whatever. So you're getting,
I think it looks fine.
The natural tonight.
I didn't even notice.
I was out in the rain today too. So.
Oh yeah, it'll frizz it up, right? No, Angie, actually the live stream I did last night, my wife was right beside me and I was like, okay, I'm going to bust out the Canon M50 as a secondary camera. I got to charge the batteries. Where's that cable I need? You know what I did? Just put on my iPhone. It's iPhone 12 Pro Max, but it didn't matter. We didn't get the blurry background. There wasn't a lot of separation between her and the background. There's a lot of distance, but it was fine. It looked pretty close to what I have here, just no blurry background. So I think you're actually going to get sometimes better resolution than the MacBook, which is kind of weird. You think that, but they put a lot into the smartphones right now.
Mine's actually, my iMac is actually, I have the full desktop. So I have the 1 terabyte and then I bought a 5 terabyte external hard drive.
Nice.
I kind of went a little overboard. Well, I knew I was going to do a lot of video. And so when I ordered it, I got it on the refurb and it was funny because from what I heard, this was inside Intel. So you know how they were sending out these iMacs in all the different colors to a whole bunch of content creators for reviews? A lot of them did not get to keep them. So they were just unboxing them. And I mean, maybe Justine got to keep one in every color, but most people did not. And so it was right around that time, all these videos released and then they were coming back into the refurbished. And so I was every day getting on the refurbished looking for the 1 terabyte pop. I'm like, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? And it finally popped up and I got it in blue. I don't care. I really wanted green, but who cares, right? I like the blue. And then the external hard drive was, I don't know, it wasn't even $100 more. So I was like, throw that on there. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with this computer. So
I think kind of going along with that, you have to kind of watch for those kind of deals. The MacBook that I'm using right now, I actually got through school, and otherwise I probably would have gone to the refurbished website for Apple. But really, when it comes down to especially as a content creator, you got to play your cards right. When it comes to buying tech and upgrading your tech, any one of us can agree with that. You got to play your cards right. And if you have the money, Angie, you said,
I was going to say, don't overspend. Start with what you got. The only reason I bought this is because I now have 6 affiliate companies that I work with, and I have a big brand deal where I'm selling them content and I'm doing all these things. And I was doing everything on my iPad. So I was videotaping on my phone. I was airdropping to my iPad. I was using iMovie on my iPad. And at some point I was frustrating myself and I kept doing videos and I thought there's got to be more. There just has to be more. And so I looked at how much I had made, and my husband and I are very financial people. So I was like, okay, how much do we set aside for taxes? How much do I have left over? And he's like, yeah, I think you can go ahead and get this. So this was my first major purchase with YouTube money. So everything is kind of going from there. But I will add in, this was a blessing from my husband just a couple of days ago. So he is a semi-retired musician, I guess you could say. And these puppies are all formed and shoved in my ear. And so I'm trying to get used to having these Shure headphones, but I mean, they're definitely musician headphones. So they sound different than the monitor. They're different than the big ones, but these are actual, and the cords all going down my back. So I'm like, it doesn't even look like I have anything on, but yeah.
Is it wireless? Is it wireless, by the way?
No, it's just a really long, there's my cable. And then
Nice.
it's plugged in.
Even better, right? Like for
here.
studio monitors to be wired.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So they're totally, they're what he's got a recording studio and like a recording equipment. And so this is what he would use when he's an electric guitar guy.
Well, isn't Angie just so fancy smancy?
I know. And he said they were right before he left the last band he was in. He said, I think I used these like 5 or 6 times. And he pulled them out because I was just using the little Apple ones. Because the big ones, I love the sound of them, but for a girl perspective, it's just like, what do you do with that? It's really hard. I'm telling you, it's really hard. And so he pulled these out and blessed them to me. So yeah, it's kind of taken a while because they wrap around your ear and kind of feel like media. I feel like a news person, news anchor. How they got the oh, somebody's telling me something in my ear. Wait.
Oh, newsflash!
I gotta go. Wait, nope. There's a hurricane. No.
Oh yeah, Angie, I used to gig too for years and years without using an in-ear monitor, and it's totally different when you can hear yourself on stage. Totally different.
Yeah, my husband and I actually were both in a band together for our church, and we did it for 12 years. And we had a heavy rock night. So Saturday nights was like heavy Christian rock. And so he was the electric guitar player, and then I did percussion. So I did something you guys don't know. I did bongo drums, I did the tambourines, I did the egg shakers, all the jazz that went with it, right? And did a little backup vocal. And I could only ever wear one because I wanted to kind of hear the people too. And and he always locked himself into 2. And I'm like, no, I just need one. But they are different. But yeah, so that's my new piece of tech that I'm playing with.
Well, that's a great piece of tech. I'm a little green with envy right now, Angie. I'm not gonna lie.
My first piece of equipment, right? And then I got the cheapy microphone, but that's okay.
It is what it is. And honestly, I want to go back to the chat real quick.
I noticed. I think Luis was asking about what editor we use.
Yeah. So Luis, put in there for the panel what editing software are you using? So I use Adobe Premiere Pro. I've heard good things about Final Cut Pro. I have yet to move from Premiere Pro to Final Cut, but I hear good things about them. So what about you guys?
I use Final Cut and CapCut for any short videos, Instagram Reels, that kind of thing. CapCut is free.
I need to probably do something like that for Instagram. Well, now my Facebook Reels, because I'm just editing them through Instagram actually, and then I don't save it in Instagram. And anyway, I am an iMovie, and I have no intention of giving it up anytime soon. They keep updating it. I just got another update again, and they actually fixed something that had been a major pet peeve of mine. And I got in and I was like, whoa, they fixed it. They updated it. So it's constantly changing and updating, and the sucker's free. And if you look at any of my videos, I can do pretty much anything. So I don't feel restricted by it at all. So that's what I'm an iMovie girl.
I love that. I use a combination of Premiere and After Effects, and I think the number one thing that I like about Adobe is the fact that all their programs like low-key communicate with one another. So this is for anyone out there who may not know this yet about Adobe. If you want to use Audition to perfect your audio, and then After Effects for graphics, and then Premiere to actually put your video together, you don't have to be exporting files in between the programs to actually make them work. So pretty much you can have your timeline in Premiere and then have audio files that you can fix up in Audition and like compress them and do whatever you want, and they're all going to be linking and syncing with one another. So that is my number one thing that I like about the Adobe suite, is that I can use Photoshop and then throw the file into Premiere, and when I do make a change in Photoshop, it'll reflect on the Premiere timeline. So that's why I use Adobe, and I think it's pretty cool.
You're speaking my language there, Lalo, because I get the Adobe programs for free right now because I'm a college student. And so that's another reason I haven't switched from them, is because I thought in my mind, like, I'm going to utilize this as much as I can right now. And so really, Luis, it comes down to what works best for you. I know that, Angie For example, she likes iMovie. Lito likes Final Cut, and I like Premiere. Lala likes Premiere. It really just comes down to like what works out best for you. But kind of going back to the chat, Sharkfin Tech said, "Isn't actually?" I'll have one of you guys read this comment. Who wants to read it?
Oh, I will. Isn't there already a Sony phone with a 1-inch sensor? I think we'll soon get to a point where mirrorless cams or DSLRs will be regulated to only specifically use sports, wildlife, paparazzi, and weddings. Well, that's interesting. I don't know anything about Sony because I'm Apple. I'll say it over and over again.
Review that phone? I think he did a review, right? And he like said that he was like for a very small group of people. Or was it a different phone? I believe he reviewed it.
Who was that?
Marquez Brownlee. That he did a review on that Sony phone that had like a big sensor. And then he actually talked about like the whole theme of the video was that it's a phone made for a very select amount of people who actually need something like that or will take advantage of it. So.
Hello, call me Ender. I just had to say that actually out loud, not
just Call me Ender always has to make a big entrance into every live stream he's come into mine. He always admit it's almost like we have to roll out the red carpet for Call Me Ender because he wants to be put on that high horse. So welcome, Call Me Ender.
I'm loving the new profile picture too. That's very cool.
It's very fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see like a technological like upgrading. You know, everything's going to get smaller but also bigger in terms of like the quality we can get from small tech. So like if the camera sensors, look at every iPhone iteration, we're getting more cameras on it, we're getting bigger lenses on it, you know, everything is getting better and better. But you know, getting back to that idea of like, oh man, that photographer showed up to a wedding with a smartphone, you know, it's like back in the day, you know, handy cams, you know, and like the big TV shoulder mount cams that, you know, like TV reporters and their photographers would come up. Those were like the standard for really high quality video. But then like I got into DSLRs in photography because it was a Nikon D3200 was like the first of its kind, a DSLR that you can change lenses, you can get that blurry background without being on a movie Hollywood production, right? Like you can get Hollywood looking shots with a DSLR. I was like, it blew my mind. And I bought it to do music videos, right? Because like I had as an original band, and then I wanted to do it. Had no idea what I was doing, did not know what white balance was. We looked like the green, the Incredible Hulk. We were all green, and it was crazy. But like I think after that point, yeah, you see professional people coming up with DSLRs. They're like all rigged out, right? They got the monitor, like the gimbal and the lights and stuff. But it's like when you go to conferences and people are like, "Oh, so you're the videographer?" And then they bring out this DSLR. Like, you're gonna film with that? It's kind of like the same questions. Like everything's getting better and smaller. So at one point, people are like, hey, you came to a thing with the smartphone. You're not using the implant neural link iPhone that Elon Musk just came out with. What are you looking at? Why are you coming with a smartphone? You know, it's just, I think we're gonna get to that point where it's like, wow, what type of tech are we using? You know,
I actually had friends that just put their house on the market, and the real estate company sent someone out to do all the photography for the house, and they did it all with a iPhone.
Wow.
Which I just think is crazy because, you know, is it like the same? And they thought that they were like, you're not going to use like a professional camera or anything. And so, yeah, everything like on what we have the Zillow or whatever, everything on the listing or whatever is all iPhone photos. And that's the real estate industry. So, yeah, I definitely think that a lot is changing.
Have you seen the photos? What do they look like? Do they look okay?
They're okay, but I'm one of these people with like, you know, staging. And so, I mean, the photos themselves are okay, but you know, I'm just, I would have changed a few things, but that's just me.
It kind of makes sense only because the iPhone has a very wide angle lens. Like the three, I mean, especially if they're using like the higher end iPhones, they have like really crisp wide angle photos. And obviously for real estate, you want to make the property look humongous. You want it to make it seem like it's a big house, you know, and the lighting is like perfect, and it just makes you want to be there when you look at the photos. So I actually kind of understand why they would use an iPhone, because I know like not everyone actually owns a really wide angle lens, like the ones you need to get photos like that. Or if they do, then they're probably really expensive. So, I mean, I'm not surprised that that is a thing. And I think especially for photos, you can still manipulate them in Lightroom and make them look more actual DSLR-like if you really want to. But I see your point. Like, there are things that like an iPhone just cannot do at the moment. But hopefully in the future, the tech will get better and better, and we will actually normalize real estate agents going to photo shoots with an iPhone.
And actually, with Annette, she said worst thing an agent can do. They were really not sure about that. And my friends have a drone, and so they actually did their own drone footage for up above photos, and they walked around and did all of their own 3D stuff for the house too. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just Michigan, maybe it's where we are, but that's it.
She added something to that. She said, never take listing photos with an iPhone. That's cutting corners, SMH. And it's so true. Like, I mean, this is just my honest opinion. Take it with how you want, but I feel like there's always going to be a need for a DSLR camera. Like, that's just how I am. I feel like there's always going to be some kind of a need. And like Annette, and like, if my oldest brother / mentor was watching, yeah, iPhones are great. Like, I love my iPhone. It's so cool. Like, I can do so much on it. But there's so much that more when it comes to photography that I can do on an actual DSLR. Like, and that's just my honest opinion. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I love my iPhone, but in my honest opinion, if I was to show up to someone's house to take photos of their home, and all I had was my iPhone, I would be embarrassed with myself. Like, I just say, like, I'm sorry. Like, I guess I can't do this. Like, you're gonna have to hire someone else. Like, I would be so embarrassed. But going back to the chat before that, Call Me Ender said, also, Angie, congrats on the 1K, man. Super happy you got 100%, got there, 100% deserve it. And also, Anthony, if I didn't say it, congrats on the 100. Thanks, Ender. Appreciate that.
Thank you very, very much. Yes, I'm very excited, and I'm almost to 1.1. So it's true. Once you hit that one, it starts to it's that snowball rolling downhill. So it is picking up a little bit faster. I'm getting more subscribers quicker, and yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Andy, this question is for you. It's from Shark Fin.
Are you a fan of Slayer? Yes and no. There's quite a few of the old ones. I know that's a really, really old one. I never listened to really super duper heavy music like that when I was growing up. My husband did. He was more of a Striper fan. And Petra. We actually own every single Petra album or CD or whatever. So that was a really big one for him, but he liked all the 80s metal rock. But the stuff that we did for the church wasn't necessarily the 80s style, but more of the kind of the grunge, if that makes sense. Some more of the grunge heavy stuff. I'm trying to think. I can't even, it's been so long because we did just cover after cover of other people. But yeah, those were the days. But I did do karaoke this weekend, so that was fun. You got to get that out of your system every once in a while.
So Annette said, we hire professional photographers and they charge a couple $100. And that's understandable. Like, if you're expecting, because especially if you're selling a house, you want the photos to look as amazing as you can. Because, like, number one, if you're the real estate agent, you're going to be in a commission off of that. So that's a very smart idea. It just goes back to my previous point. Like, I would not show up to take someone's house photos just with my iPhone 12 Pro Max. Like, I would be embarrassed for myself and for them. I'd say, I'm sorry. Like, I'm terrible. But
can I just interject there a bit?
Go ahead.
So I think, if we're talking about the tech, like, I think phones do have their limitations, obviously, right? In the state they're in. They're getting better every year on year. But what we forget to talk about is how important lighting is. What are we doing when we're capturing video and photos? We're capturing light, right? So if you have the best camera, but you have the shittiest, sorry, pardon my French, the poopiest lighting, you're gonna get terrible photos, right? Like Lalo was asking, how does it work in low light? Yeah, you can't get really good images without enough enough light. The cameras that help you with that. But like I take food photos all the time with my iPhone, and people are asking me like, wow, how do you take your photos? It's all it is. It's my iPhone, and this is this. I just turn the light and put it on the side, and boom, it's like magic. So like, don't forget about how important the lighting is, and then audio for video, obviously. But that's just kind of my thing. I always do. I take photos a lot with strobes, so like you get to play even more with lights and stuff. So it's a lot of fun.
I'll tell you, one of my biggest issues is lighting when I'm doing my videos, and this is my problem. If you guys can help fix it. I used to turn off a lot of lights that were behind me, and I've decided not to do that. So I'm fighting the light behind me. So Lido, you probably haven't seen a lot of my stuff, but I do hydroponics. So I have these huge garden growing things systems behind me. I have stuff off to the side. I have these monster grow lights. If I shut them off, the plants look not as bright and beautiful and green. So sometimes I'll have half of them on, sometimes I'll keep all of them on, but I have so much white, just daylight beaming behind me, that in front of me, I have these more grow lights, but I have these huge LED strips that I like lay out across the dining room. I have these lights that are, they're actually like just room lamps where they've got like 6 or 8 things, and then you can bend them all over the place. I put daylight bulbs in those. So and I have to somehow overpower the light behind me. And so I'm always like, I'm a little shadowed until I get right up to it. So I'm constantly like, I have to be steering into blinding light to balance out what's behind me. And that's been a challenge, but I've noticed in the videos, if I keep those bright lights behind me, people can really see like, oh, they've got all these grow lights and look how pretty and green the plants are. If I shut them off, I'm dulling all of that. So, and it's shadowed. So that's been like a really big challenge. If you see my living room or my dining room when I'm recording, it is like you need sunglasses. I mean, it's so everything is just, yeah, it's crazy. But that's my biggest challenge, is to kind of balance out the brightness that I have actually behind me.
I hear you, Angie. I know exactly what you're talking about. I just looked at a couple of your videos. I'm looking at one's handy pantry growing media pads, microgreens, and I'm looking at your setup there. Wow, you got some nice greens going on, that vertical.
I know, right?
Going. Oh man, I'm all about the growing too, right? I'm all about microgreens and stuff. So I'm gonna check you out for sure.
Yeah, and some of the ones I did, there's a worm composting one where I'm sitting on the floor and stuff too, and that was the same thing. It was like getting all these lights down, and it's just, and then I'm right by a slider, so I'm also kind of fighting the time of day, because if I hit where I'm recording at a certain time of day, then I've got the sun beaming in and it's giving me this sideways shadow. And yeah, my light is always, it's always a thing. But
yeah, you are competing with a lot of those bright, it's the grow lights that you're talking about, right? Like that are illuminating the white, what do you call it? The vertical planting stuff.
Yeah. And I used to shut them off. So and then I would take 2, and instead of having them aimed right at the back wall, I would aim them kind of off to the side just to glow. But I've noticed the last ones that I have everything on it, it actually makes everything look, healthier and more green, and and it just looks better. So I'm fighting that.
Okay. Yeah. I have a question for you. Do your grow lights have an intensity? Like, can you dim them or anything like that?
Not the big ones. Those big tall ones are just one setting. I do have some other ones that have, you can up and down them, or change the colors of them, so they go to the reds and the purples to simulate the moon and all that. But no, those big ones are just one straight color.
Yeah, I totally hear what you're saying. So what you need to do is somehow get the intensity of those grow lights down, so that your main lights, your key light, is not competing with that, because your key light's way weaker than that. Also, your white, what do you call it, your hydroponic station and your vertical growing wall, it's all white, so that's acting as a reflecting board, right?
Yeah.
So how I would try to approach it is this: I would try to close all your curtains as much as you can.
We don't have any.
You don't have any curtains? Okay.
We live in the middle of the woods. I have no neighbors, so
so you don't need any curtains.
Everything's just open, right?
Okay. Well, I see a little bit of a lace curtain on the right, like a
that's just it's very decorative. It's very thin. That's just the one window, but next to that is my big huge slider.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if there's any way, like, so all you have to do is really control that light a bit more, right? Because it's like kind of rampant, or you gotta wait in a time of day where there's less competing daylight. But it's actually that's not the main problem, because that window light acts as a softbox, a really soft light, and that's really nice light that you want. But it's the harsh light that's reflecting off of those white surfaces that you need to cut down. Do do you have? I think Anthony and maybe Lalo have these things. I do too. If you have your LED lights, and sometimes they come with a softbox, a little like white diffusion panel over it. You can go on Amazon or whatnot and get diffusion, just the fabric that it is. It's kind of like, semi-transparent whitish, that lets a little bit of light through. What you can do is like cut it and they pin it around your grow lights, and maybe start to mess around with how many layers you need to get that down a little bit less, and actually it'll make the lights a little bit softer too. So you kind of diffuse it a little bit more, less intensity, and then have your main light be stronger than your backlight. Is
Okay. Yeah, no, that's a really great idea, because before I got the 2 units, I would actually use, because each unit has 2 bars, and I would use 1 bar as my recording light, and I would wrap, I have a gray fabric, and I would wrap that around that to diffuse that. So I've never thought about diffusing them behind me. So thank you. Yes, I'm definitely, and I sew and all that stuff. So I've got a room full of fabric. So yeah, I will, I might be able to make some kind of my own little sleeve thing or something for that. Thank you very much. That's a good idea. Very great idea.
Soft boxes are amazing, but Angie, if you can make like your own makeshift one right now, that would be great. But I would highly recommend in the future to even go on Amazon and just buy some soft boxes for your lighting.
Well, it's the lights behind me though. That's what, you know what I mean? It's
not traditional lights.
Yeah, and if I shut those lights off, so my lights that are on my face were brighter, then it's fine. But then I just get like, see how this plant behind me, it just kind of has this dull look to it. But you put the grow lights on it, and that's what my channel is the garden. So I'm just fighting those lights, but that makes
it. And it's different for it's different for everyone's needs. Hey, so really quickly, I posted a link in the chat. This one right here. This is for my mom's channel. She is kind of newer to YouTube. She's in the gardening niche, like Angie. And honestly, like, I got to give a shout out to my mom, not just because she's my mom, but because I'm proud of her. She posted a short a few weeks ago and got over 3K views on that short. And it was like her 5th short, and she was so shocked and she was so excited. So honestly, I got to give her that shout out, and it just makes me happy knowing that she is really into the whole gardening niche.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm very proud of her for doing that. And on that note, I'm going to actually cut out, because I was going to kind of stop myself at a certain time so I could go up and curl up and crash on some TV curl up with the hubby. So I'm going to go do that. But I'm so glad I got to. And Lalo, it was amazing to actually see your face and talk to you. And
same here. Thank you for being here.
I'm starting to become part of the family now, right? And starting to get to know you more. So it's very cool. I love that.
Same here. Angie, I'm going to send you a link for these lights too. You might be interested in them. They're really cheap and they're dimmable, and they come with already diffused stuff. So that could be another possibility instead of using your grow lights.
Okay.
Which light is that?
This is the Ulanzi VL49 RGB.
Oh, yeah. I literally have the same exact cube lighting me up right now.
Oh,
nice.
Cool.
There we go.
Very cool.
So it's really good. Yeah, and dimmable, and you can change the colors as well. Less than $20, I think, on Amazon. So
Perfect.
Yeah,
all
check
right.
it out.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you, Anthony. Another wonderful hangout evening. So if I can, I'll just kind of keep playing you guys in the background. So I might still be in the chat, but yeah.
Okay.
So thank you very much, you guys. Have a good night.
Thanks, Angie. See ya.
Thank you.
Anthony, I'm going to have to go in about 5 minutes.
I'm going to be ending here soon because I got to finish writing a paper for class. But really, when it comes down to it, there's so much that we could talk about when it comes to YouTube. But it just goes back to what I've said in the past that Sean Cannell says. Just got to punch fear in the face and hit record. And I can't say that enough, because a lot of people come up with excuses like, oh, I need the best camera, I need the best lighting. You just need your phone. You just need your phone to start. Even if it's like an iPhone 5 or an iPhone 6, shoot, even like an iPhone 4. I'm sure people are still using those somewhere. Just press record. And that's one thing that I cannot emphasize to people enough. And then the other thing that I would like to emphasize is that this is not going to be an overnight sensation. It's not. All three of us can vouch for this, that it takes a while to grow a community, and really you just got to keep sticking with it. If anything, sticking with it for yourself. And if you have to have an accountability kind of chat like we do, we have, then do it. Like, just got to keep going. So any other thoughts, guys?
You about summed it up right there, man. Like, I think accountability is great, but no one is going to be there behind us, pushing us to make videos. Because at the end of the day, being a YouTuber means that you're your own boss, and you get to choose when you post, what you post, and how you post. So it's literally our responsibility as a creator to learn every single day, because the platform is ever evolving. So literally there's no cap to how much we can learn about editing, social media strategy, and literally everything about YouTube. And we gotta stay on top of the game. Like, it's, mental health comes first. And like, if YouTube is consuming your life and you need to take a break, although a lot of people will disagree with that, you need to take your break, because you don't want to be doing this when you're not enjoying it. But you also got to come back to, like, remember, discipline is important, and being a creator is about discipline and about being, delivering for your audience and on your promises that you make. So I really love everything that you just said. Just wanted to say that.
What about you, Leo? Any thoughts about?
Oh yeah, just riffing off of both of you, Anthony saying just hit record, right? Like, just go out and start. But then Lalo coming in with like, but take care of yourself first. Sometimes you got to take breaks, even though you're like, okay, I got to get that video one video a week kind of thing. I tried to do that too. One live stream a week with the Lido Bunch, and there were times I just needed to do other stuff. I needed to take care of myself, and it's really good, because it's like taking a vacation. You come back, you're refreshed, you got more enthusiasm for it, and just let communicate with your community. Let them know, guys, I got to take a break for a couple of weeks, got to work on some stuff, but I'm so awesome to see you guys again. And you know what? They'll totally understand. They'll be like, wow, we can't wait till you make your epic return. So it's actually even better sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it took me like months to even post another pre-recorded video. And I remember when I first did my first live stream again this year, Lito, you were so happy that I did a live stream, and you're like, oh man, my boy's back at it. And so it's one of those things like, your health is the most important part of you. And if you're not taking care of that, like, let's say, like, if you're like on the verge of like having like some really bad thoughts about like leaving this world, okay, the first thing that needs to happen is you need to take a break from the YouTube scene and just take a break. If you have to take like a YouTube fast, even like away from everyone else, just say like, guys, I need to take a step back. And then more than half the time, your community they'll completely understand. Like, yeah, we'll just look forward. It's like what Lita said. We'll look forward to when you make your triumphant return. And honestly, I cannot emphasize that enough, because I've had my spouse with mental health issues in the past year. It wasn't fun. But when I finally came back on the YouTube scene and even on the Clubhouse scene, so a little backtrack, Lalo, I actually took a break from Clubhouse for like 3 or 4 months. I turned off all notifications. I just wasn't I wasn't a part of it. And so when I finally turned the notifications back on, I was like, okay, well, I'm ready to go back. And so that's really what it comes down to. Like, your health, including the mental health, is the most important part about being a content creator, being a business owner, and really just being a human being. So I cannot emphasize that enough. Before we take off, I'm just going to give a few shout outs. He called me in and said, remember to be consistent, even if it's quality. Consistent doesn't mean upload to upload. Take your time and start hitting record and improve, gamers. And yeah, you got to take your time. And then Incredible Cast, she is another Clubhouse peep. She said mental health is everything. And then Luis said, without your health, there is no you. And that is completely true. And then Ender said, "Trust me, take breaks. No one will leave. They will understand." And that's so true. And we will end off with a comment from my man Lito saying, "Health is wealth." So on that note, I got to get back to my paper. I haven't even had dinner yet. I'm almost done with my paper, but I still have a few more things I got to type on it. Thank you guys for being a part of this incredible hangout that we do this every week. Why I'm saying this, I want you guys to put your channel links in the chat right now so that, oh, well, actually, Lalo, I will put yours in there because you're not a mod yet. And I will, yeah, let me just do that real quick so I don't forget, Lalo. Is it just your name, Lalo?
What was that?
Your channel, is it just what's your channel name?
I got you. I got you there, Anthony. I got his website.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay. So with that being said, if you guys are new to this, if you're watching this on live or on the replay, if you're new and if you got value out of this, consider subscribing, and also consider subscribing to A Little Bit of Japan, Lalo. They both are amazing content creators, and also Growth Angie. She had to duck out. I'm so grateful that she came on, especially with it being her anniversary weekend and everything. So with that, guys, on that note, I'm going to end with the way I ended the last Creator Hangout, and that is, do not live in the past, but instead live for the present and the future. Thanks, guys, and make sure you give this video a big thumbs up and check out these other guys' these other content creators' channels, because they do some awesome stuff. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you, bro. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, it was great meeting you, Lalo, and thanks for having me on.
Yeah, see you guys.
Meeting you too. Thank you, Anthony.
Bye.
Bye,
Cheers,
guys.
bye. Sayonara.